Look, to be honest, this is going to be an uphill battle for CAG. Let's see the map so we can start to break this one down straight off the bat. Gentlemen, we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to go to you first, Lax.
If I'm CAG, you don't worry about the maps here. You're going against the biggest dogs in the fight here. You have to just be playing into your fundamentals. Like the clip that we just broke down, they have to be playing at the highest level here.
I mean, this is big confidence picks from CAG. Obviously, Lair picking out, that's a confident map for them. Bank confident for Furia, but then CAG going to Cafe. We just broke down Cafe map for Furia. Furia is the best team in the tournament, best team in the world at Cafe because of how aggressive they are on this map. And obviously, CAG is feeling confident in ways that they want to be able to go for gunfights against Furia.
I'm so scared for CAG in his map, veto. Lair, Bank, both maps offer so much variety in roaming for Furia to exploit. Cafe, Furia has beaten FaZe on it. They've beaten W7M on it. Same story for Border. Furia is undefeated for more than a year on that map. And then they go to Clubhouse, their third favorite pick. This is heavily leaning in Furia's favor, in my opinion.
Yeah, the only map that I could say actually is a confident map for CAG is Lair going out the gate. So we're going to have to see the testing grounds of how they play up against the aggression from Furia. If they're able to use those shields, slow them down a little bit, that's their first step because Furia, teamwork-wise, has been unbeatable.
Lax, what are your thoughts about this series now that you've seen this? Both these boys heavily leaving into Furia.
I think we're all worried for CAG here, and this is why I said in the beginning, I don't care what map CAG is going to, they just have to play into their fundamentals of what even got them here this far, because no matter the prep, no matter the map you're on, you have to play your fundamentals, you have to be ready to adapt, and if we can't see that CAG going in today, Furia, without a doubt, is walking away.
Leo, quickly, prediction, very quick.
Furia has to win this, otherwise everyone will be disappointed, but I need at least one map from CAG.
Yeah, CAG has to win that first map, so I'm going with CAG.
I'm have to agree. CAG has to walk away with this map.
I disagree with all of you. I think CAG win this no matter what. Unfortunately, the APL pride is coming out a little bit too much, but it's time to set the scene. It is the grand final, the first ever grand final in CAG. We couldn't be more excited for these two teams. APAC has never been to a main stage. Furia back to former glory. It's time to represent CAG.
Come on in. The rest of you get set up for our grand final for Leapox. Akali, these two are amped up and they are ready. And you actually had some words for these guys yesterday after you won. You are confident not only that you will beat them, but you'll do it with tremendous support after who they knocked out of the tournament a while ago.
Yeah, we're getting our revenge from the SI. E com essa torcida maravilhosa tá com nós aí, vamos amassar esses japoneses aí, vamos pra cima.
Bom demais! After beating Elevate, Liquid, and also Void Card with the Brazilian Dash, do you think you guys became pros at defeating Brazilians?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And
They next.
oh, definitely.
Eles disseram que se tornaram prós em derrotar brasileiros. Vamos ver.
For Leapox, this means a lot to you because I know that you did a lot under a different organization. But this is your first chance now to truly do it big for Furia, and you're not going to let that go.
Yeah, I've said it many times, we want so much to give a Furia championship, and now is the time we are going to get it today.
É a hora deles conseguirem um troféu aqui representando a camiseta furiosa. Títulos eles têm de monte. Agora é a hora. Let's see. Did you guys prepare anything new to defeat Furia?
Oh, that's secret.
Okay, it's a secret.
Actually, I just want to ask you, you've already made history. I want you to take it in. You are part of the first ever Japanese roster, the first ever APAC roster to make it to a grand final. But then tomorrow morning, you don't want that to be how you remember the story. You want it to become champions, right?
Yes. And we will do everything we can to lift that shield.
Shake hands, guys. The atmosphere in here is going to be mixed, but go and take your seats.
Yeah.
All right.
It's time to crown the first champions of a new era, and I couldn't be more happy to be bringing it to you guys with two of my favorite people in the world, Pengu and Fresh. Pengu, how does it feel to be back in Brazil for another grand final?
It's always exciting, very loud crowd, very passionate. Of course, the expected, finalist of Furia against the very unexpected CAG.
It's the David versus Goliath. It's exactly what you want to see in the final. Obviously, Furia in front of their home crowd.
Yeah.
It's a very loud crowd. It's a very impressive crowd to get in the faces of CAG, but they're more than happy to play into it. You're seeing seeing Aniton out there when he's walking out, flexing his muscles. They are not bothered whatsoever that this crowd is going to be hostile.
No. I spoke to the players of CAG after their win yesterday, and I said, guys, tomorrow, just like they asked me for advice. I was like, don't worry about the crowd. Don't worry about your opponent. Just go out there and have fun. You've beaten expectations. You've gotten so far already. And I think it's their mentality getting to the finals that will also win in the grand finals if they can get all the distance. Just have fun. Believe in yourself.
And these CAG players, I mean, 2 of them have been on this roster for 7 years. Since 2018, they've played at 7 majors, 4 6 invitationals, and never once even made it to the main stage.
Nice.
And here they are, the first ever APAC team, the first Japanese team to make it to a grand final. But what an opponent they have. The comeback kings, the top of Brazil, it's Furia. And the last time they played a grand final here in Brazil, they rose the hammer. Now it's time to see in a new dawn for Rainbow Six which team will come ahead. It's Japan versus Brazil. It's CAG versus Furia here in Rio de Janeiro.
CAG started this new style of playing the game back in around October of 2024. They've then went to November Major, got 18th, sent home by Chiefs. Went to SI25, got 12th, almost beating Unwanted, who finished 4th at that event. Now they're in the grand finals, and they thank their coach DD for making the strats and setting the tone for how to play the game strategically, and that's what they showed us earlier. They can play the older, slower style of the game, which they could not do before.
It really feels like they've matured as a roster. You know, we've been used to seeing them time and time again come to these events and be the unpredictable team, to be the APAC team, to be the Shield team that you can't really expect. It really does, for me, feel like they've matured, especially Aniton. He's moved into the IGL role as well. And I think this is a new era of CAG that we're seeing. And as we say, it's constant improvement all the way to a grand final. Who'd have thought it, even at the very start of this tournament?
Yeah. And there's something to be said for the disparity, like we've said. It's a David and Goliath matchup, but we've seen this David and Goliath matchup before. CAG and Furia have met in the server, most recently in Boston at the 6th Invitational. It was in the playoffs, and Furia won 2-0. But CAG, they stood a fighting chance on that first map. It had to go 8-7. That was on Cafe, which we will see later on. Of course, here on Lair is where we kick off what is a very historic series in the age of Rainbow Six. And for Furia, they're looking to defend that title. They have not lost a match in front of the Brazilian crowd ever as this roster.
That's ridiculous. I was thinking about what should CAG aim for before this matchup starts. Right now I'm thinking, go on a map that's, you know, strong for defenders, start the defending side, all is good. Because my big fear is that Furia, we saw them yesterday against WSM, when they're on the defensive half, they will win every clutch, every 1v1 gunfight, and every moment. They clawed back for a 1-5 comeback yesterday on border, looking unbeatable on defense. CAG start on the attack up against the defending Furia, and I'm worried they're going to have a slow start.
Yeah, there's 2 lines of thoughts for this, Nick. I think first and foremost, Furia are the best defending team in the tournament. So if you're putting them on that defense, they're going to be strong on it naturally. However, historically, Furia don't play Nighthaven, Labs, Lair, and Consulate. Now, CAG, their permaban is Consulate. So whichever one was open, I still think it was the right choice to play because it's the weak air maps for Furia. They're good on all of them, but it's the weak air maps.
Okay. Of course, Arbiter bans, gotta mention those. Double shield ban from Furia, paying that respect or fear towards CAG and Aniton. Whereas CAG, they don't want to deal with that stalling of the Tugarao or those Asami barriers. This is gonna make the initial entry points a little bit easier for the attack, and I think for CAG, focus on that first step, don't get overzealous.
You mentioned the shield. While to our ban, we still have Aniton on that Blackbeard. He has to do it to us.
Yeah, he's gonna get on the shields. You know, he does flex off the shields from time to time, but we've seen
plenty.
He's a specific, he flexes all the time, but he flexes on and off the shields whenever needed. Like I said, part of that maturing for the CAG team is that they're not just focused around Aniton on the shields. They're not a shield team anymore. They're a great team with, you know, variation in strategy, and then they can throw the shields in when necessary as well.
Much more depth. I think right now for the players of CAG, mentally speaking, get your first kill, you're going to be so good. There's nothing worse than going down 0-2, 0-3 in the KDA, and you're sitting there getting to your own head. Here comes the first approach, and it goes out, half the round to go. Aniton on that Blackbeard, making progress in this hallway. The Fury will answer back with a C4 going wide.
Anaton wants to make an entry here, caught in the dread mine. He does help flush out the top of the mezzanine. Look at it peek, and that's the first engagement of the grand final. KZ, the lion to fall to Anaton on the shield.
Let's see what happens next here. Attack step attempt, like it's shut down, but the shotgun off Shurip on the staircase as well. Furia, they try something they did yesterday. This time, CG, they read them perfectly, unlike W7M.
It's the ultimate flank watch, that shotgun, even on the attacking side. Unusual to see the Deimos bring it, but Shurip's also got that pistol. Speaking to the Deimos, here comes that Vendetta, the tracker. Anaton falls, but Blackray quickly to trade his long-term teammate, leaving Furia with just Philippox and JV.
That's a great refrag. They now have the Deimos below. They can get tracks on both of the remaining defenders, and they can breach this wall, but Philippox is playing close to it in that right position.
The corner, this is dangerous. If they hear him, if they find him, if they don't, Injure comes out, he's stuck in the corner now. Shotgun out, can he get it, James?
Oh, he's trapped, but it doesn't matter! Philippox cornered, and he still comes up with 2 big kills, shotgun in hand. Oh, and they're looking for something, but CAG find nothing!
1v1.
1v1 for Arcully! JV waiting on the other side, his position not clearly known! The swing, and Furia to kick us off!
Classic Furia defensive round fresh.
Yeah.
A good old forward to start things off.
Yeah, that's just what it's like playing against Fury. You can play as well as you can. You can refrag each other out. You can have all of the information. They can still make the big plays. Philippox gets 2. JV finishes it off. And I will say, for the most part, I thought CAG actually did well inside of that round. Maybe their one key problem was not being able to breach after they'd taken that ops hallway. It took them a long time. The Deimos below. They finally get the breach way too late, and it allows Philippox to get that position and make that play.
Yeah, the thing that really bothered me is that they got the breach, they had a fair bit of time within that 4 versus 2, and I wouldn't say they misplayed, because they weren't pushing inside that bomb side door. It was just they assumed that there was going to be nobody tucked in that corner by the breach, and they're just not really paying attention to it. Didn't drone it, didn't go that second track on the Deimos either, and that very small mistake, well, it cost you the entire round, unfortunately. Bomber.
When you corner a player like Philippox and he's got that shotgun, he knows exactly how to play it. The CAG, they had the right idea for that whole round.
Yep.
But Furia, we know what they like to do. They like to play aggressively. They are some of the most individually talented players in the world. Best fraggers, they know how to come back from a 2v4.
How does that feel, Nick, when you're in the server? You know, obviously first round of a grand final, you want to start it off so well. CAG, they got that start so well, and they should have converted it, but lost to a clutch.
That's what I was saying earlier, like, if every player can get, like, a kill in the first round or 2, that's, like, the individual side of, oh, I got my kill, I'm not going to drop a donut. That's the first kind of mental hurdle to overcome. If you lose a round that you technically should have won, it comes down to the leadership of that team. As guys, we won that round, despite the scoreline being 0-1. We do that again in the future, we check that corner, we're completely fine. Because, again, it's the first round of a best of 5. You can lose a round, hell, you can lose a map. It's about the longevity right now, staying mentally in it, and we know CAG, they can have fun on the server. I believe, based on yesterday's game, they're not going to mental boom this. It's not going to be their problem. I don't see that happening.
I think the fact that there's just no pressure on this for CAG, everybody expects this to be a washout from Furia, a 3-0. People are saying maybe we'll get a 3-1, and that means there's no pressure on CAG, and perhaps that will be to their advantage. We don't want them to be feeling pressure. We want them to be playing that underdog story, but in a stadium like this, with a crowd like this, I'm sure you guys watching along from back home can hear it. We can feel it.
Yeah. So can the players, of course, sitting there. And they want that trophy, they said it. Arcully said, we want that shield, and we'll do anything, or everything rather, we can to lift it.
I saw a great tweet on the timeline. I can't remember who put it up, but they tweeted, of course the trophy is a shield. CAG in the grand final.
What's this? A bit of a run out. Chibisu to fall. Very aggressive from KZ. Anaton, though, elsewhere, makes up for last round, punishing JV. Not a player you want to keep alive in the late round, JV.
I like this. Furia, they love to toy with their opponents when they're on the attacking side. They recognize CAG, they want to execute, they want to have their right, the 5 different attackers allowed to do their different things. If we can go for a 1-for-1 trade and disrupt their ultimate plan, they're going to have to go to plan Bs, plan Cs, and start flexing and adapting inside the server. Something that now Furia is saying, we're going to strategically challenge CAG now on their problem-solving skills.
CAG have still got to clear out this mid-floor roam, and I think that's one of their big problems. It's a minute 13 to the round. You've still got Hertz playing up there on the top floor. Will get that kill with the SMG-11. Philippox is up there with him as well.
Dangerous. Very dangerous.
Do they have more in them though? They kind of have to fight this back. Again, you said it, they have to fight for map control.
Yeah.
Furia, they're not surrendering. We're seeing two different silhouettes on two different floors of looking for a fight. They want more.
Herd's trapped here with a player outside. A player peeking him, but Herds wins his 1v1. So well baited. CAG, in theory, did everything right, but Herds, he knows exactly where they're going to come from. His game sense is on point, and he's got the mechanics to back it up.
Surprised BlackRay's not gone in there and challenged him and at least tried to get the refrag, although you feel with the way Herds is playing, probably wouldn't go well for him. Him and Aniton are going to have to try and foresight, try and get this man disadvantage back.
Lost the veto, now we see again the shotgun of Herds getting more and more value in this round. Fire popping Fury downstairs, isolating CAG, locking them outside. Now BlackRay, with just a single point of HP left. Furia, they're going to play their corners and have those crossfires established.
KZ's got that pistol out. BlackRay takes him down. Felipox, though, he's got the back door on lock. All up to Aniton now in the 1 versus 2. 20 seconds to play around. There is a vert angle looking down at his position. It's Herds. He does have to rotate off now. Essentially a 1v1 on site, unless if Aniton exposes himself to this angle. He sneaks on through. Shield away, goes for a plant. Felipox is there, knows exactly where his opponent is. An easy shot for the Brazilian and another round for Furia.
Absolutely love that round from Furia, by the way.
Yeah.
I love to compare and contrast Herds and KZ. And KZ, he was out there playing the Scopos. He gets Deimos tracked, he's out there on the roam. The smart thing to do, as Cyclops take their timeout within round 2, by the way, the smart thing to do was to rotate back down using that Scopos shield. He did that.
Yeah.
What did Herds do? He did the dumb thing, and he stayed and he fought it out, and it managed to win them the round. That's what makes Furia so unpredictable, because you don't know if they're going to do the really, really smart thing or the really, really dumb thing.
And they're so good at both. It's not like they have, you know, they're really good at the smart stuff or really good at dumb stuff, so to speak. They are excellent all the way across. I like this timeout personally. I feel like this is a good opportunity to say, guys, this is what we're playing for. And like a little bit nervous, or the comms a little bit, you know, weird or whatever, or not really getting into the game itself right now. I wanted to see a more clear plan from CAG. Whether are we gonna go for a roam clear, or we're gonna go garage and hit the bomb side. We saw Aniton on Blackbeard being one of the last 2 attackers alive. That's your entry operator. When you have a player stuck in a corner, whether it's Herds or KC, find them on that first or top floor, send the Blackbeard in. They are raw taking these gunfights, no real droning, and no real gunplay.
I said KZ makes the smart plays. He also does the run out to get the first kill as well.
Run out though, right? Pretty safe.
Very smart, yeah.
Tactical aggression, which is the name of the game for Furia. The CAG now, after that tactical timeout, they knew pretty much what bomb site they were going to be attacking up next. Top floor is locked, bottom floor is locked. It's time to go to one of those first floor bomb sites, which can be very fickle occurrences. There's a lot of map that you've got to deal with, being vert-centric on those bomb sites. You've got to take that top floor. CAG have had a couple of minutes now to discuss how they're going to deal with that.
Fresh, how do you feel about the tertiary bomb sites? Because our experience from Lair, it's in ranked, let's be honest, right?
It is.
And I feel like we try and play both, but we tend to play one a lot more than the other.
Yeah, the Bunks and Briefing site is probably, I would say, the better of the two. I will say the difference between ranked and pro play is massive, because when we try and do it in ranked, Nick, it's me and you trying to shotgun out every bit of the top floor, and somebody walks in on us. When it's pro players, they bring a lot more shotgun, they have more setup. It reminds me very similarly of how, like, for example, on Consulate, the split bomb site and the piano bomb site get played in the pro play. Ranked, completely different story.
Actually 5 shotguns on the setup right now.
Yeah, exactly. You need them because you need to get all of the vertical lines of sight, because obviously the way that the defenders tend to hold the Bunks Briefing bomb site, they hold it from above. They want the attackers to do a direct take. You know, we see the thermite charge going off. You want them to do something direct and then kill them as they're planting. You forfeit the bomb site, but you control the verticality above it.
It's also why I believe CAG, they have pre-picked both the Dokkaebi and the Brava right now, because one of those big information-getting operators on a vertical bomb site can be a Maestro / bulletproof cameras, which they can easily bring. And Furia likely they're hiding operators in the drone phase, so Akoli he just pre-fires Brava just in case. Even if they don't have the Maestro, you can still use them as regular drone info right now. Look at that barbed wire.
I love those positions with the barbed wire out there on the top floor. You'll play a shotgun, close contact, one barbed wire near the green stairs, one barbed wire near the external entrance, and you play close contact with the shotgun. Usually a smoke, can be a mute, could even be a Jaeger shotgun for what it's worth.
We've seen that earlier in this tournament. Not right now though. Furia, going back to information game, they don't have a ton of it. If CAG can look up a call, maybe find an angle into the bomb side, or just like this, go in basement, look up a staircase, go for a backstab. But you said it, Fresh, when you play this bomb side in pro play, it's all about covering each other's, weaknesses, the entry points for the attackers. CAG shouldn't be ratting around for a gap, because there shouldn't be a gap anywhere.
Feels like they're going to fall into the trap that Furia are setting by trying to surprise Furia and getting onto site, by attacking this middle floor only.
Baiting for a kill is the game for CAG at the moment, and it seems to work on out. Good breach on the site, and a little bit of poking and prodding does net CAG the advantage, but it is short-lived after Shurip elsewhere on that lurk was put to rest. Furia still maintain dominance of this top floor. They still have a lot of setup as well. The smokes from CAG not clearly used for the execute. As I say that, 50 seconds left. A smoke does prevent the angle onto Blackray. He's actually going to confirm the plans. 8 players alive in the server, and the Japanese have pulled off a daytime robbery.
Now for retake time, I mean, the thing is, defenders have to go downstairs, and if they do, attackers can go back upstairs.
Absolutely, that's what you want to do as an attacker. You want to use the defender's holes against them now because they can't smoke off the same way you did as an attacker.
But here's the moment where KZ can get onto that diffuser. Look to ninja it. It's up to his teammates to cover. Nobody from Cyclops can deny it. Oh, Fury, you've done it again.
This story will likely continue because this is just how they play Rainbow Six Siege. CAG did not get that upstairs control, didn't find the vert, had to sprint through a bomb side door, and guess what? The defenders, they closed the weakness, they closed the gap, they shut down CAG.
I don't know who was more surprised that plant went down, Furia or CAG, because in the post plant, it didn't look like they knew what to do.
Yeah. It's the danger, right? They went for a really deep and well-covered plant because it's easier and safer to get in there and get that diffuser down. But the problem is you've got to cover it as well, and Furia took advantage of that ill-placed diffuser.
Was very, very surprised as we see these highlights come in. Very surprised that Furia didn't bring a single Warden on this lineup. Of course, you can bring the Warden with the shotgun. You can use the SMG-12. You can see through the smoke. In the end, they managed to make it work, but it was a glaring weakness inside of that because the plant was going down in the smoke. They knew it. They were spamming the smoke, but they couldn't quite hit their shots.
That's what they were into, right? When we saw bulletproof cameras, they had one. Dokkaebi came out. Same with Maestro. Dokkaebi kind of a completely counter shield. I would say Solus as well. Yeah, you're not gonna know, where they're planning at all times unless you activate the overclock mechanic, but you can track what is happening. Had they had a little bit of information, or just simply a defender answering the phone call immediately and hopping on that one camera on site because there was a camera, but the issue is because CAG found the opening kill, it didn't allow any of the other 4 main defenders to feel safe enough to check the cameras.
You know what's crazy? The scoreline is 3-0, but the game isn't a 3-0 game.
It's not at all. It's
CAG
either way.
have been more than competitive and maybe actually should have won 2 of the rounds that we've played out of 3 so far. I would maybe go as far as saying, in terms of control, they're controlling this game better than Furia right now. They're just not clutching it out. Furia have that clutch potential. That's the difference between a good team and a great team at the minute.
Yeah. We see CAG though, they got tricks up their sleeve. Warden ban coming through and a glass immediately after. Whereas Furia, to no surprise, triple shield ban, get that out of here. So again, CAG no longer a one-trick pony. They're showing us strategical depth, saying, yes, we got the shields, we need them, but we can also leverage other operators. It's Anderson leading that charge, and I know he's been playing a lot of Capital, a lot of Grim, a lot of shields, of course. Glass is a different beast. It's hard to entry, and your entire team has to play around this, and they only have one set of smokes to support Anderson's playstyle.
Here's a peek from Herds. We know Furia, they're happy to challenge 50-50s, even perhaps unfavored gunfights. That said, this time around, Herds does fall on back up to that top floor where CAG got so close last time around and then fumbled in the 4 versus 2, thanks to some heroics from Philippox and JV.
One of the problems, again, for CAG is that they're going upside across, as we've seen the initial breaching coming out there from the Ace. Again, they've got nothing to deal with the bandit batteries of the site itself, so it's potentially going to be sending that Deimos of Shurip below again to try and get the bandit, but if that happens, it's going to be in the late round.
Yeah, out of nowhere, Anderson just gets that kill. Smoke goes south, 2 in fact, despite the reinforced wall is there. Has to jump in, surely, right? That's the only set of smokes for this attack. They have to find some value. It's a breach in the wall.
Love this idea there with the ace, the breach, the pre-placed smoke as well. Cheeky there from Anaton.
They can't get through, or we can. Okay.
He is somewhat trapped as of now. Has made his way onto the staircase. Good coverage now from CAG.
where's the next step? Yeah, they're in, but where are they gonna go and how will they get there? Toxic Babes, all three spent, juicy force in pocket, but again, it's a great shot from Hertz.
Yeah, dirty one as well. Another from Hertz. Holding the fort here on the bomb side, peeking these angles aggressively. Usually, the attacking side takes control of the mezzanine. This time, Hertz refuses to give it up, hungry for a little bit more. Blackray moving onto his position, unable to breach the wall to his left, means that Hertz is going to be feeling very safe, comfy on this bomb site. His head spotted for a brief moment, a couple of warning shots sent his way, a few pre-fires from Blackray, and into the site, CAG going with servers, a great wall bang from Chibisu. He's going to worry about the crossfire he's about to walk into as well. Akuli's lost his head, Nate's got massive on the site! Trick for Nade. Furia. Doesn't matter when CAG get close because Furia always comes alive.
Again and again. It comes down, Nade gets a big 3K again. Another player on this roster that is getting a big moment, a big multi-skill to win them the round. And I will say it, and I'm going to keep harping on about it. When you attack this top floor of Lair, you've got to breach. You've got to get that main breach off in the office at the very, very start. Yeah. Whichever side you do, you've got to get it off. Yeah. They didn't twice now, CAG, and it's forced them into attacking in a plan B, plan C scenario, and that's where they're having to walk in ultimately blind into Nade. They didn't know his exact position because they weren't planning on going there originally.
Yeah. And this philosophy can, of course, be taken to almost every single map of the game, maybe excluding something like a border or a coastline where hard breaching isn't as necessary. And it's about applying pressure to defenders, right? Yeah. Fury had to worry about the 3 bumps at doors, that's it.
Yeah, even Hertz. Hertz got a big double kill in there. You know, picked up one, picked up Bandit's done on that refrag. He's able to be stood in the middle of the room because he's not being pressured from the external breach or the internal breach from the upside because, very simply, a Bandit was in existence.
Yeah, and this, of course, comes down to the difficulty of playing these flex operators. When you got stuff like Dokkaebi and, in this case, a Ying, before it was a shield or glass.
By the way.
Ying shotgun, by the way. You are limiting yourself in the basics, right? Like getting the walls open up, etc. Yeah. But there's no excuse not to bring secondary MPs and at least go for an attempt. I feel like the attempt was missing. They were playing grenades, they were playing flashbangs when they could have brought EMPs. It's also Maverick, if you don't want to get fancy with it. There's options.
A lot of options. The CAG are changing their options from round to round. You know, last round they went for the vert with Deimos, or rather the first time they attacked that top floor. I think second attempt, they actually completely changed their strategy. It was a nice idea, but as you've said, there are holes in the plan for CAG that Furia, if they can hit some gnarly shots, will exploit. And that may well be the story of this game. Here's an early one for Philippot. Shurip's having a really rough game so far. 1 kill to his 5 deaths. And we saw him on the face cams before. He's looking a little bit shaken. Hertz somehow survives the attempted cut here from CAG. Back down to the basement here for most of these Brazilians. Pox, though, he's tempted. He thinks if he rats in these corners, CAG are perhaps just tilted enough, just worried enough, just overthinky enough that they will overlook him.
Another kill going out. CAG, I would say pretty comfortable in the driver's seat right now. They got most of that map control. We still see Philippot roaming on that first floor. And I think KZ on the Scopos still has a way back if he wishes to teleport.
I absolutely love the Scopos on this site because KZ, as soon as it went to 4 versus 3, he got himself back to site so he could help out his teammates on the site. Should an execute go down, he can then teleport back up and retake onto the top floor and the middle floor to get the verticals back onto site.
Go for a crazy swing.
And he comes around, he's got his one. The shoddy drop shot! And now suddenly the round flipped on its head. It's all up to Pox, and he's going to have to drop down this hatch. CAG not seemingly aware of his position. The vert attempted, comes out. Now they know where he is, and they can surely cut him to pieces. Chibisu goes for the swing. Finally, Cyclops are on the board, and they're silencing the Brazilian crowd.
Very silent indeed. I was expecting some sort of roar there from the crowd, but there is none at all.
Not a Mika in the crowd that we saw on the cam just then. She is the one Japanese fan that they have imported here.
Who wins, one Mika or thousands of Brazilians?
Oh, look, she's an optimistic type. I don't imagine her spirit falling at any point in this series.
And I will say it's nothing less than CAG have deserved. They deserve to be much more competitive on the scoreline. Yeah. I think it was a really, really good execute, particularly Aniton being able to make that play. I'm presuming he did it off the back of Yin Condelas. Shotgun has the double kill, really opens up the round for his team. Here we go. Yeah.
Bang.
Drop shot.
Drop shot.
Bang.
Yeah. Drop shot.
We've got to have some Rainbow Six bingo. Getting drop shot by Aniton. Whether it's on a shield or on a shotgun, that's an inauguration for any player.
He's currently the saving grace of CAG, at least from the fragging department.
8 and 3 at
He's
the moment.
the one that's holding his own in the gunfights.
Not just that, but also think he's taking the pressure on the operators that he's playing. If you're playing the shield, you're playing the glass, playing the ying, it's all down to you to execute, to find that way forward for your team.
Yep.
Just like last round, he's in the bomb site first. He gets the 2 kills. His teammates, they just follow in. It's clear already.
I love the reaction that the CAG players had as well. A lot of teams 4-0 down, first map of a grand final, your map pick as well. Maybe when you win that round and make it 1-4 would be relief. For CAG, they were just loving it. They were like, it wasn't we finally got one, oh, we've got an uphill battle. They're just enjoying being here despite that scoreboard pressure.
And also, to put this into context, yeah, this is CAG's map pick, but Furia, as you said, best defense team in the tournament on a defensive-sided map to kick things off. Yeah. If CAG can make this a 2-4 split, perhaps we're not to be so worried for the chances of the Japanese.
We spoke of the EMPs, bandit walls in the wall, just rotate it off. If they do it right now, we know the coast is clear, that wall should be opened up, and that will mean the first step. Come on, commit to it. You got this Black Ray, second EMP through. Should be a done deal. Little bit nervous.
What?
The second EMP must have missed.
Did they miss it?
They missed it. How? The first one hit it, the second one didn't land in the same area. They get sapped because they were hesitating. Gotta commit.
I know you're a lover of bandit tricking, Nick, and I know I was expecting KZ to be out there on the bandit trick. He ran away, free wall, and then they've not got it.
They lost to nothing, essentially.
What they did. What I will say, it might now force CAG to go and clear out that top floor, which generally is the preferred way to approach this site.
And they can't get the exterior and this internal wall. It's going to be either or now. So they can't, once again, plan A is probably done already. They gotta go to plan B and look for a different way in towards this map. We're looking to Anaton once more on the Ying shotgun to say, guys, I can carve a path in this specific area, but there are so many different directions, so many doors to worry about. You have to show up elsewhere. Arkoli, I just checked, he does have his glasses on. He has off glass performance, 0-5 right now. I want to see this guy show up, get his first kill, because I think right now he might be in his own head. He's not gotten that. Oh, it's fine. I got my one. Once he breaks that curse, I think he'll be fine, but he has to get there first.
Ideally, what we need here from CAG is to at least breach that exterior wall here. And it is possible if Arkoli throws a nade from the internal door that we're looking at just here, he could clear out all of those, the batteries and enable that breach.
He might have just done it. I think he just did it.
Yeah, Damn, give me a color commentator.
Look at you, James.
Give me my color commentator.
No, you stuff, James.
And no opening kill as well. Here they're gonna go. Will they go all the way in? Smoke's coming out again. Warden is banned. Echo Drone and 1C4 can maybe save Furia this time.
Well, let's see how this pans out. Is CAG going to commit to it? Black Ray forcing it down, but a spray through the smoke works out for Felipox. And now Jibitsu is forced to go in deep. Out comes the bearing, he spots his player, and now the side is his to behold, but he's going to worry about these vertical angles. Can he force down a plant? In a 4v2 now for CAG, but we've been here before, getting spotted. Another bit of Urk comes out. Hertz and JV need to be pressured right now, so they can't afford to look down through the vert. The flashbang comes through at the perfect moment. Anaton, he's up with the shotty again. Now it's all up to Hertz, but right around that corner, guess who's waiting for him? It's time for another flex from Anaton. He rounds it, and he puts him down. CAG have made it back. It's par for the course, baby.
That was such a good round, so well played by CAG. They realized their mistake. They realized that they needed that breach open if they were going to attack this bomb site at all. Took them a while to get it open. They got it open. And then the clutch factor of Anaton to throw a Ying Candela up there on the top floor and then push in as Ying, as his teammates are getting the plants down. Because what happens there if you're a defender? You either focus on Anaton that's pushing you, or you focus on the planter and Anaton gets the free kill and you play the score, the man advantage out from there.
And you saw Fury, they were trying to go for the planter. They saw the Candela, they completely ignored it, trying to get down the guy below, thinking their timing will be off. I was thinking to myself, Anaton is late. He should have been there maybe 10 seconds earlier, because if you hit one of those shots from the verticality, the planet dies again.
It was so close. Like that Ying Candela could not have gone off at a better time. I mean, arguably 0.5 seconds earlier would have been a little bit, you know, it was a bit closer comfort. But CAG, 2 rounds?
Yeah.
Arguably could have been, maybe should have been 4 rounds.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. They'll feel settled into this now.
Statistically speaking, 2 for half on Lair, especially when you're the underdog, is a great place to be, at least in my mind.
I will say, CAG Osaka, in terms of attack, they've been significantly better this tournament. Before this game, 51% attack win rate. Put them 4th out of all 20 teams at reload, which is absolutely excellent.
That's incredible.
They're moving on to their defense. not too good. They are in the bottom 10 teams for defense at only a 51% defense win rate, which is not particularly good. Furia, on the other hand, 68% defense win rate. So it's a big variation.
Well, the thing is, okay, what's Furia's attacking win rate then? Just for the contrast of like attacking.
52%.
Okay, so interesting. So Furia is that much better on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Furia straight away, they've gone with the Bandit Cade ban. They've realized the value of breaching onto this map. They want to get rid of it. Get rid of absolutely everything that CAG can do to deny those walls. The only thing really they can play is a mute or maybe play for those impact tricks.
And on the flip side, CAG, they've targeted individual nerfs to them, right? The Dokkaebi calls to make their phone screen, to force them off the camera, utility, and of course demos, so they can't just go downstairs, go for a track and pick her apart one by one, because later on, Furia can just go for a mute ban as a final one, that's triple wall deny, plus that demos gets really opened up, same with Dokkaebi. So I think they're both playing long-term, like, okay, how do we want to start off the orbital ban phase, but how can we leverage those bans to make that third ban even better or more flexible later on?
And at this juncture in the round, the player that I really want to focus on for Furia is KZ here, droning himself down below. I'm sure he would have loved to pick that Deimos, but in its absence, the Buck will do just fine at creating vertical dominance here against CAG, denying any players from below and making sure that Furia have good crossfires, both from below and directly onto these players on the side, hunting them one by one.
I love this. We're seeing Capital downstairs helping Bok. And the reason for this is Bok is the first step. Do the vert, get the breach, then you work from there. You know, get rid of those like key positions on the bomb side. Capital is needed later on for the bomb plant attempt or the bomb set execute. But so many teams, they'll send down Bok downstairs to get the first step done. Without support, he dies to a flank. Furia, yes, it's a slow round for them, but it's because they're playing this perfectly and nice and slow, trying to go for that 5v5 execute.
And just very quickly on the Capital now, of course his Capital bolts now do get taken by Jaeger ADSs in play. Blackray will be playing on that Jaeger.
Keep in mind for the late round, we also have that Yokai in play. Keep that in the back of your mind.
Thing is, there's not much outside of that. Yes, you got Toxic Babes, and honestly, I'm gonna take that back. There is a lot left. With the timer ticking low, those smokes will get higher and higher value. I feel like Furia, the Bok downstairs, or a great fire arrow has to make or break this round. If not, then at least it comes down to excellent gunplay for Furia and brute forcing gunfights.
It's time delay here for CAG. Is keeper barriers. Just blocking off these windows. They want to burn the clock as much as possible, but Furia has cleared out this key position behind the desk.
It's great use of the Bok, as you said, fresh, and it's getting more and more value. CAG forced further and further back, but they're getting the smoke in the right position right now to go for a plant deny. They're reading each other quite well. It will come down to those entry gunfights. Still waiting. Wall comes out, smokes the counter. 5v5, 24. Yokai drone is ready for it. This could be a time round.
With no pick here for Furia, how on earth are they going to make this work? The Yokais both have snuck into sight here, and they're both in position. Shuri also through the vert. He finds the kill on a KZ down below. Will these light walls be enough to enable the plant? No, they won't. Not with the Yokai up. But there's 4 seconds left to play, and Anaton has another Yokai. It comes on through, and every player from Furia will fall. Furia far too slow on their attack, and CAG will lap up that first defense.
This is one of those mature rounds that I'd like to mention for CAG. Previous CAGs of old would not have played into the time as the win condition as perfectly as CAG just did. They knew what Furia was setting up for. They kept themselves alive. They stayed out of line of sight of the Buck. They allowed KZ below to basically chase the ghosts. Snuck the echo cams in, snuck the Yokai drones in, perfectly timed smokes, and ultimately, as the plant was going on, they were already in a 5 versus 3, and then threw enough bodies that they can just keep forcing it through until they win the round. They did it flawlessly.
They also didn't tunnel vision. I saw Echo right before the plant was going down. He was flaking one of the other cameras in the hallway. He saw a backstab was coming, made the call, and then we saw a player, I forget which one from CAG, turn their attention from the bomb side plant to the flank instead and shut that down.
It goes to show as well the impact of that Dokkaebi ban. It wasn't just, oh, let's get rid of a fragger, let's get rid of a roam clear. It's actually, let's get rid of the counter to how we want to play, which is using that Yokai, which is using those cameras to watch for those backstabs that Furia love too much.
It was kind of funny for for Furia because they must have been droning the bomb site.
Yeah.
They must have been booking below the bomb site. Like, where are these guys? Can we just go for this?
Yeah.
And then they still took an age to do it from there.
I mean, the CAG of all would have been running, peeking people.
Exactly.
Not realizing that, as you said before, Jack, the win condition was the timer and man advantage. So as long as CAG don't give up players, they don't need to get kills. They got the time on their side. They've got that 6th player. And at the moment, it looks
like...
like...
feeling pressure, James.
In the technical pause, Akali is getting a little bit of a back rub and having a banana.
So I was just in the top-down view that we have here as commentators, and like what happened during the plant attempt. The Toxic Babe went out in the middle of the bomb side, kind of shrouding the line of sight and stopping the entries, and that's pretty much what gave CAG enough space to walk in past the Bok vert host. Bok was already past deep the first line of sight. They sprint past him. The rest is history. CAG, you said earlier, Jackie boy, they are only 1 round behind now, 3-4, but they could very much have been ahead 2, maybe 3 rounds at this point had those clutches not gone against them. That's incredible just to think about. CAG, they've been the nice guys, the fun guys, going out early in tournaments, and they find themselves still the fun and nice guys, but at the highest level. And I know, regardless of what happens here, they're going to look back to this and just be so proud of themselves.
We'll get into the round for a second, but I will say it feels like the crowd have 2 favorite teams.
Yeah.
They want Furia to win, but their second favorite
like
is
CAG.
Yeah.
I think CAG can earn more of the crowd as they keep performing. Akali's on the board.
There we
I
go.
don't know if he got one last round because we had the rehost, but he is guaranteed on the board now at least.
That's his first kill.
Yeah. There it is. That curse has been broken. He said, okay guys, 5v5 time. Numbers are even, and they start off this round that could put them to a 4-4 even scoreline in a 5 versus 4 plus. Nate is in the Monty, JV is on 0. This is a very slow-paced round for Furia. It's about map control, information, watching flanks, and denying utility.
And of course, we are going down to that basement site. That will be the sledge off the board, but very, very fortunately for Furia, they do have that redundancy in Philippox playing the RAM.
Yeah.
KZ also has that secondary shotgun as well.
There's few ways for the attack to gain any like easy kills, right? There's no Capitao, Dogabi Demos are both bent away. It comes down to, you don't even have grenades anymore because Sledge is dead, like you said. So yes, they can gain information, they can have the vert, but how are they going to force a plant attempt or a bomb site execute, especially when that first Ram Boogie Drone gets impact grenaded immediately, and there's 3 more impacts waiting for the following ones. Second impact going out, and again, the vert is very limited, and they're still roaming above.
You still wonder about that for CAG. Furia, they're trying to do a half clear, they're trying to use nade on the Monty to try and get a plant off, but there's still roamers out there on the middle floor that can retake. There's still the defenders inside of sight. Feels very risky to me.
Time will be a problem. And also, I believe they found a few of these Vulcan canisters as well. That's the late round utility that'll be so essential. JV's actually on a little bit of a lurk, but Shurip and Jibisu are both still on this roam.
Yeah, the question is timing, right? You have no real info for defense. The only one is if they hit the bomb site doors, surely Shulip has to know something's up, but for now, they are only guessing where the attackers are coming from. And they're right by those doors, smoke goes out perfectly. That's 1 less smoke to deal with the Monty. Only 1 left in pocket, Buoy canister already used earlier as well.
The Dread Mines as well will alert CAG to the direction of this Furia push. Doesn't matter if you've got that Monty, if you're blind. Another smoke goes out, but Anaton is caught unawares, and Furia are able to find their entrance to the side, but Shuri finally comes to life. It's all up to JV, and this is why Furia cannot afford not to address the players on the roam, because Shuri back to bite them. Great usage of the Vulcan from JV. Nade comes in to support, and now JV, he's farming. It's all up to Shuri. He's the player above, and he's done so much damage already. But Nade is forcing that plant down. And now on a post plant, it's nigh impossible for CAG to retake.
Fire is still there, just evaporated. The Monty's gonna block his path and just bother him, bully him. This is risky for Nate though. If he finds the right main in a pre-fire, he might go down.
The only way to do this is to enable that guard break. Deal a little bit of damage. That's a decent amount. MP7 doesn't pack a punch. Time is ticking away, and Nate is perfectly happy to be playing this time game because he's still got JV to support him anyway. There's nothing in for it. Oh, it's a fickle attempt here from Shuri, but he's going to keep trying regardless. Desperately looking for a shot, and finally he realizes it's GR. Furia have finally got themselves back into it on the attack.
And seemingly out of nothing as well. You know, it was JV making a huge play into sight, it was KZ making a huge play into sight, winning more than one engagement, I will say. For the most part, CAG had the win condition, they had the verticality, they had everything. And it was popping the Goyo canister for JV.
Yes,
they got it to a 2v2. Nade's in front of another defender, he can call him out. JV picks up that one, and then boom, 2v1 post plant. And I think, actually, with that Monty exhibition that we've just had, we might be seeing the shield break getting buffed a little bit more.
Certainly. The Des kind of highlighted some of this on border is Leo and Gabriel Laxing saying, yes, they got good individual skill, but the teamwork. This was Furia having a duo system. Right now, Nade and JV covering each other, making that progression forward. When Monty, if Nade was getting aggressive here, getting meleeed, he stepped in behind him. We see Goyo right there dying while meleeing mid-animation, and it saves his teammate and they get the kill.
Yeah, it makes you wonder for CAG, what are they going to do if they keep coming up against this Monty? Because every attempt, everything they threw at them, absolutely fruitless. Also, Furia seemed pretty comfortable at dealing with what CAG brought to the board. We mentioned the Vert game. That mirror was basically just a non-pick.
Yeah, there was one in pocket. Oh, the mirror died with a mirror window.
Oh, that's not great. At that point, Anna just like literally bring Oryx, bring anything, just some kind of util, something a little bit more useful.
How many rounds is that now, Nick, that we feel that CAG maybe could have, maybe should have won out? Maybe 4?
It's a 3, maybe 4.
3, maybe
1 is arguable, yeah.
Okay.
So this could be done already.
This could be done already. But Furia in that late round just have that experience. They have that nous. They have that prowess to just find a way to get over the line so far.
That's that 1% difference that can make or break a round of Siege, and Furia, they got 5 players with more than, I think, 1% of skill level and experience, of course, on the board. These guys have made a lot of grand finals, and they've won 75% of them so far. Incredible scoreline. It's another early, slow start for Furia, no surprise there, because again, they're respecting CAG if anything right now, not taking that risk, not saying, we can just outgun them, we can just walk on it, we own this place. No, no, no. You have to earn it still, round by round. They've seen that in the last, well, 8 rounds of this game.
Another way to interpret that stat, by the way, is Furia haven't lost the grand final in 2 years.
That's also pretty insane.
And as this 5 never lost the grand final, because of course the one they lost, Julia was playing on the roster.
Of course, wow, great usage of impacts, teamwork together, Shurip to take down that Blackbeard of Herds. A significant numbers advantage for CAG, and in theory, right, the round should be done. But we've seen 2v4s before from Furia, so what's a 3v5?
Gotta hold on. Don't expose yourself to those gunfights! You have the verticality, you have the bomb site. If you're the anchor downstairs, just hide, pick a nice comfy corners, and have your teammates play around you. This can still fall apart for CAG.
It's a tough one for Anaton, because you don't want to inhibit him. You don't want him to not make the aggressive plays, because he's the one who's been fragging. But then when it's a 5 versus 3, you do want to inhibit him, because you want to just win the round out.
It's about understanding your role in every single round, and that one was about passive play from Anaton. A flank going up for Akoli, plenty of time, but look at this, just like that! Fury, they're back in the reins.
CAG need to stay on top of this round. Akoli's going for, oh my god! Everybody else has been accounted for by Furia! Akoli needs to come through with a big one, but he's put down before he can get back to site. Furia, map point before you know it.
You give them an inch and they take a goddamn mile. You cannot let them ever have a sniff of winning a round, because they will find a way.
That round, unlike the others, might be more of a tilter, because there are so many ways to win that round by simply doing nothing. You're on the defense, you got so many different conditions. Verticality, crossfires, numbers advantage, information. They had no good options to brute force anything. We didn't see a Monty and a Capitan, a Grim and a Demos, like fancy stuff from Furia. They just walked in like they owned the place. They just won gunfights.
I was kind of just wondering, what do CAG ban away here? The immediately obvious answer, I think, was the Montaigne. It allows them to play some of the bomb sites a little bit more effectively. Of course, the information provided by Nade when they were all the way down in labs in the basement were able, you know, it was able to win Fury the round. So I'm not surprised to take that one away.
Oh, yeah, tough call. That last round, though, was a bit scary. I mean, again, another round where there was such a significant lead for CAG, and it slipped away. We've had, what, 2 2v4s and a 3v5 now?
We've had a lot of moments where you think, yeah, it should be over. And you even said it, the round should technically be over. And I think in a lot of matchups, it does follow that turn. You kind of know when things are done and dusted, when things can keep up. You never know with these guys. And the same thing can be said with CAG. Yesterday, in their final round to qualify for the grand finals on border, they were up 6-3. And they do like a full bomb set rush that doesn't work half the time, if not more than half the time. They did it flawlessly. You never know what these guys will do and how well they will do it.
Amazing illustration by the guys down on the
Yeah.
on that one in the pre-game, I will say.
Can I just point out something I've seen teased out here by Furia?
What's that?
Well, we know it and we love it. CAG like to bring the Ying, they like to bring the shotgun, but did you know that KZ is partial to it as well?
I do now. Nate, you bend the Monty, where you play the Blitz instead as well. Shotgun? I mean, APAC, they're the founders of the Ying Shotgun. It would be one way to take them out in the first map by using it against them. Now, Furia, for the first time, are playing for a very fast, or aggressive at least, execute style. It's about the smokes are gonna come out, the glass, the Ying, the Blitz will lead the way forward. They need to get the opening kills. The way to win this round, if you're CAG, you need to shut down that push and win that first initial gunfight. Just cheeky.
Oof. Cheeky bait there. KZ with the pistol, no less.
And in fairness, you wouldn't expect a player on the upside-down rappel of that door.
No.
Very, very rare that you would see that.
Very clever, the timing here from Furia. Using the cover from KZ to make sure that Herds gets his Rotero drones safely in the building.
Yeah, this is the thing, they're just prepping for the push. Clear the barbed wire in the right positions, get that first exterior wall inside of Ops room, and then when everyone's ready, they're just gonna send it all the way in.
Oh, Herds actually might send it right now. He's just crossed on through. He does get punished here by Shuri. A very devilish position, and another 3v5. Early in the round here for CAG, but guess what? Nade's going deep. A C4 from Anaton. It's desperate times for Furia, and that calls for desperate measures. KZ with his shotgun tries to send it up, but CAG have read this perfectly. They're using their gas, they're using these keeper barriers to lock out these positions and make sure that Furia can't go right now, can't take advantage of the chaos.
We're saying we don't want those gunfights. We're peeling back. It is catch that second last Candela. Last one point going out. You have 1 HP. Rotate's not quite good. Still can't get in. The flash is done and dusted now. Just gotta brute force the gunfight. There's no more flashbangs.
Should be a done deal for CAG, but we've said that before. Low HP on KZ, but he's trying to bait at the moment for Philippox. It doesn't work out. An easy close and a flawless round for CAG. They're second of the match so far, and we can see Anaton. He says 2 more rounds. That's all we need, 2 more rounds.
Feels a little bit, I don't know what the word is, a little bit risky from a Furia point of view to try such a play. Now, I don't mind making the plays. I don't mind trying to push in, if you're Herd, push into the bomb site as the breach is going off. Be a little bit unexpected.
Yeah.
But like we said, CAG, they're kings of the unexpected. They're kings of the Ying shotgun. They know everything that's going to happen, and they dealt with it so well, of course. Sharit was ready for it.
I think there's 2 things right now. One is Furia being up 6-3. They can afford to take a round like that is highly risky, because if it doesn't work out, you're only looking at a 6-4 scoreline in your favor. And the second one is going to go back to that first top 4 defense of CAG, maturity. They once again, they play back, they play util, they're throwing issues at the problem instead of taking gunfights against the problem.
Okay, so here's my problem. I don't mind that they take the risk. I don't mind necessarily that they lose the round. Problem is, they're going back down to the basement bomb site. What's the reason that they won the basement bomb site? They had the Monty. It was a little bit fortuitous that they managed to get the Goyo canister kill in the 2 versus 3.
Yeah.
Similar round repeats itself. It could give CAG another round because CAG actually played that round particularly well.
It is true. Worst case, there is the tertiary bomb site, which is a bit of a toss-up for me in how it comes down to execution. Also, we see all the operative bends. We have the full picture. Both teams, they have probably prepared themselves for, hey, Warden open, Warden closed, Monty open, Monty closed, because there's no operators right now that are like outside the norm. Of course, these might not be the exact operators that are bent every single time. It's pretty common.
Anderson's rocking the pocket mirror window again, by the way.
Well, the thing is, I'm not sure if this was the case last round, but this round he's actually put his mirror window on the roam. I think he's just placed his second.
So the last one is a side mirror, and the first one is a roam. But last time he forgot the roam one.
Exactly. So
okay.
For CAG, not only have they now got their roam mirror, but they also have this Valkyrie and a C4 on both Arkali and Anaton. So I expect the idea here for the Japanese is to contest harder, prevent the vertical game that won the round for Furia last time.
Yeah, and when and if you give up the vertical game, you got C4s fishing for a kill. We gotta see Hertz and IQ really paying attention to where the cameras are and keeping track of that in his mind, or telling JB with Twitch, hey JB, there's a Valkyrie camera in this room, in this corner, go Twitch drone it before we enter the door, because you see right now, they're a little bit wary about the vert because they know there's gonna be a flip below.
This! Nade team kills! Jimasu can take credit for that one. He's looking for another one as well. Nade, though, peppering a lot of damage onto the Goyo, an over peak, and he loses his life. He didn't know when to quit, and Nade will punish, refragging his fallen teammate, but Arkuli elsewhere goes aggressive. CAG back in the advantage.
That's a really nice play by Arkuli. He expected JV to go and support Nade onto Chibitu in that main lobby, ran, found the kill, and potentially can get himself back down to site. As it's turned out, 4 versus 3 man advantage, huge play.
Do not give them an inch, because they will take it all, like you said. First, they need to play safe keepings right now. Blackbeard finds another 4v2 with 2 separate CAG members, low on HP, one now injured and in the grave to the Captain's on fire. This can still fall apart just like before.
Wouldn't take much here for Furia to bring this back and close the map right now. Blackray very low on HP, but what kind of information have we got on these CAG players?
There it is.
Finally, that sledgehammer starts working.
Reinforced floor, it's okay.
KZ's got one at home. I sure hope he's practiced using it.
Thing is, time is of course against Furia. There's still a C4, 3 toxic baits, so what CG can do right now, they can just smoke off one area, hold the other 2 with 3 guns alive. This hatch getting opened up might be a problem because that's a bit of a wild card in the middle of the building, middle of that bomb site itself. Smokes, 2 in pocket, 1 fire as well. Here they're gonna go.
And the clock, though, is on CAG's side. KZ, his position now known. Up above, Nade sending out those smokes into the site for KZ. It's covered by Arkuli, but apparently not well enough because Jurib's gone down. The plan is also going to be confirmed. From CAG.
How do they keep finding a way to win the round in the late round? I will say, terrific use of the fire in that late round. Get the plant, forced CAG to make a mistake. By forcing the plant, CAG needed 3-2-1 onto the 2 attackers. They didn't. They were disjointed, and if you give them 1 versus 1s versus 1s, Furia are one of the best teams in the world at that.
It's crazy because there are 3 defenders alive, only 1 with low HP. If that was a guy with full health that was fine, he could run through it. There's a guy with low health who could not run past.
1-0 up in the series for the Brazilians, but there's still a lot more grand final to go. Don't go anywhere.
Like CAG, Philippines has been in many grand finals, so we can feel that you just feel like you're home.
Yeah, a final is a final. We are playing to win always, and we are feeling at home. Of course, we are at home. We have the crowd cheering for us. So yeah, let's get this title.
That's your first grand final. I mean, that's a huge moment for you, for your region too. What are you feeling right now? Are you nervous?
To be honest, I'm kind of a little bit nervous. Yeah, I think it's the pressure from the crowd, but I'm a slow starter, so map 2, map 3, I'll bounce back.
No matter how tough you present, sometimes it gets the best of you. There's a lot of pressure on CAG, regardless of whether people expect them to win or not. They are putting pressure on themselves to perform here, and we saw it. There were opportunities. CAG had so many advantages. They slipped away.
Yeah, it's always the same story with them. You look at the first 4 rounds, and in many scenarios, they have the man advantage and they give it up almost consistently. Yes, the nerves are here, but I'm in the shoes of CAG right now. Nobody expects them to beat Furia. There is no reason to be nervous. And if you look at this, you know, the first 4 rounds, they were not problem-solving anything. Then we arrived to that round 8, and they're back in the race. They're back at problem-solving. They're back at playing together. But yet, consistently, even in a man advantage situation, look at this. This was a 4v2, and still they lose these rounds. It keeps on happening and happening. And once again, Furia exploiting the weaknesses and the lack of discipline on the side of CAG.
Yeah, it's definitely a lack of discipline on CAG, and this is reminding me of what CAG used to look like. Not the CAG that we just hyped up during the pre-match, because the CAG that we saw during the pre-match was problem-solving. They were playing a fundamental sound and a game of Siege. We're here now, we aren't seeing that. Even playing into the bans, you're removing certain operators and not bringing a buck to play vertical pressure that's going to help your take, let alone cutting corners, not droning certain areas. That, again, Furia is going to 199.9% of the time going to take advantage of.
A zebra never changes its stripes. It's true for CAG as much as it's true for Furia. Furia are always in that moment.
Afama, look at the opening kills to each side.
Wow.
CAG has always been in the winning position and getting that first entry kill, especially from Anderton, but then immediately Whether it's not understanding what they want to do, not understanding the approach, or just not playing together.
We can see right now the potential in CAG. We can see them being in control of most of the rounds, at least in the beginning and in the middle of the round. The real issue, and it keeps on happening, is the late round.
Yeah.
They need to understand, let's stay close to each other, let's make a reset or a freeze call, and let's punish the aggression on the side of Furia by being together and trading. And that just doesn't happen right now. It needs to happen on Bank.
It absolutely has to, because I'm telling you right now, CAG Osaka, you can see the pressure is on. But we have Fox by the telly to break it down.
Furia loves playing from a disadvantage. They weren't getting the opening kills, but strategically, they were always one step of the way. So we can easily break down their hold on this mid-floor site. They're holding top floor. So first things first, JV92 is locking anybody coming from study. KZ with the holes locks anybody from bathroom side. And the most important part is Herds and Felipox with the shotguns in the smoke to be able to lock down the green stairs outside area, making it so difficult to get in that CAG wasted 2 minutes trying to attempt to take top floor. CAG knows we're in a position that we need to make something happen. What do? They go for an amazing sight hit, right? They have Anakin and Black Ray able to push in through the door. Chibisu death marking and being able to walk through the breach to push onto Nade. And the last player with the death mark on Nade pushes Nade all the way to Shurip, who's able to catch the beautiful kill. And CAG does a great job of understanding next step. We don't have top floor control. We need a plant in the smoke. They're luckily enough able to get that smoke off. They get the case down and they give up sight. What does Furia do in this position? They understand they don't have top floor, they don't have downstairs control. Let's just retake site, and they do it off of an amazing JV92 play from Medbay, where he's able to get the first pick, position behind the pillar, and he stays alive. And this is so crucial. Him staying alive, able to shut down the second person, puts CAG in a position where they lost complete control over pillar, and they weren't able to do anything once that defuse came down. And Furia, honestly, have looked amazing mentally and in game when it comes to their gun skill, and we have so many more plays that we can get to watch after a short break.
Of course, we're back here for the grand final and time for us to dive into map 2. We go to Bank here, gentlemen. Is it an open playing field? Is this an opportunity for CAG to come back?
I mean, I'll let you take that with an opportunity for CAG.
For me, the real question is, do they have what it takes to beat Furia? We've seen that they have what it takes. We've seen it in the early and the mid round. Bank, huge map, but that's the one map where if you don't have discipline, you will get punished by roamers. They need to step up their discipline game. Bring Nomad, bring Gridlock. I don't care, bring Deimos, bring something to crowd control Furia, and you will win this.
If you're Furia, you keep doing what you're doing and what you do best, and that's being aggressive and being in the face and playing confident and play into those strengths. Obviously, you and Fox already highlighted, we're seeing a lot of team play here, but we even saw that last game, especially in those last 2 rounds. Even if you're in a 2v5, every player is a 5-man player themselves.
Gents, thank you very much for joining me here for Bank. Before we get underway, Maria was courtside with the coaches.
You were facing a 3-time champion. How this affect your preparation for this game?
3連続世界チャンピオンのフュリアを対戦するんですけれども、これは皆さんの準備やメンタリティを影響を与えますか？
そうですね。まあ勝ったら勝利にふさわしい相手、その勝った時に俺らが本当のチャンピオンって思ってもらえると思うんで、相手にとって不足ないです。
Yeah, so I think if we beat them, this particular team, we're going to be the real world champions now. So the pressure's on them, not on us.
Everybody is saying that this is going to be an easy game for Furia. What do you think about that?
I thank you about the confidence in us, but I don't agree with this because CAG is playing very well in this tournament, and in the last map, I think we won because we are more experienced in finals than against them. So I don't agree with this.
Okay, I'm shaking, I'm nervous, and I'm not even playing, so let's go to the second map.
Maria's nervous, and understandable if you're a Brazilian fan. More so understandable if you're a Japanese fan. Map 1 was very close for CAG, though. What do we think about Bank?
Well, I think we've not seen Furia on it, James. That's one of the big things. They've not played it yet at this event. It's actually the second lowest played map in the entirety of this event after Skyscraper.
It's a bit of an unknown in this case, but also I will say Bank and then Lair, they are a little bit similar in some ways. There's a lot of map to work with, a lot of roaming, a lot of problem solving. So if anything, I think the first map was a decent warm-up. What's to come?
And for us, Pengu, this is our first time casting the modernized Bank here in Siege X. You guys at home reckon that Furia have got this 4-1. Let's see what CAG have got for us on Bank. The comeback, can it happen? happen against the Comeback Kings.
I love that we're getting to hear from the players between maps during a series.
Yeah.
Our Cooley had a slow start, and we were kind of sitting there. He was 0-5 or 0-6 before he got his first kill. He sat down on stage with Maria. He's a player who naturally and always typically has a slow start. He will bounce back on map 2 and map 3. He now has to keep that promise because CAG, they need every single gun skill, every kill, everything they can use in this matchup.
And Akali is a player who's actually only been on this roster for a month. He was on CAG a long time ago, previously, and then he went over to Crest, and then very recently, actually after CAG's impressive performance at the Boston 6 Invitational in February, he's come back, and I will say he's come in and fitting like a glove.
CAG have been making, I would say for the last 2 or 3 years, lots of roster changes to try and figure out what the best CAG looks like. Obviously, given we're an S-tier international event grand final and they're here and they're playing.
This might be it.
And they're playing well, I think this might be it, yeah. Absolutely. But I will say for CAG, it is only upside. Like, we all know that Furia are favourites, and Furia are, let's be honest, the expectation is probably Furia are expected to win this 3-0, right?
Yeah.
Anything above that for CAG is upside. They've only got upside. There is nothing to lose in this game, and you can see from their mentality, the way that their teams are speaking, the way the players are speaking in the interviews, just their demeanors as well. They don't feel the pressure, and that can make them quite dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, the context of expectation here is utterly insane. CAG were hoping but not expecting to make main stage, right? They never made main stage, despite playing at, what, 12 events in the past? Their first ever debut on the main stage, and then their first ever semi-final, and then their first ever grand final. It's been a week of firsts for the Japanese roster. Winning a map against the former world champions, I mean, that's just another cut above, and yet still possible. We saw that on Lair.
Yeah, I think even though Lair was a loss for CAG, there's also a big one-up for them, so to speak. That they showed that they can go toe-to-toe with Furia in so many different rounds, in so many different ways, besides the clutch factor. And clutch is something that even some of the greatest teams in the past haven't had that much of. You don't need to have clutch to be the best team in the world. Furia just happens to have it, and like at the highest level. This is cheeky.
A little minigame happening here in the garage.
I'm trying to work out if KZ knows that the Yokai Cam has seen him or not. It seems to be looking at the roof, so I think he does know, but he's not been able to get rid of it until now.
Genius, honestly. One smoke grenade for Yokai Drone. I'm gonna say worth. That second smoke grenade be utilized to try and take the gunfight, but here they come. 1, 2, 3 players.
But another smoke comes out. Is he going to be able to find this one? He just needs to find the feet, but Shurip on the long angle finally takes down the glass. Thankfully, JV has come through just in time to get a refrag. Meanwhile, Felipox has actually snuck into the bank vault. There's 3 CAG players still alive. They have the numbers advantage, but Felipox is just about to change that. Chimasu's got no idea he's coming around the corner. And now knocked out of the site. Blackray and Arkuli trapped in server as JV brings that diffuser towards the site.
Should be a free plan right now. This UCG had no crossfires. Now they lack a way in. This plan will go down secured. It will be a 2v2 retake attempt from CAG.
How is it going to work out, though, with Blackray and Arkuli coming from separate directions? And Felipox seems to have a good read onto the position of Arkuli. An easy spray down through the wall. Everybody knows where Blackray is. Another numbers advantage for Furia that they pull out of their asses.
We often talk about IGLs in Siege, Nick. We often talk about IGLing around and the theory of around. We often also at the same time in that conversation hear the word shot calling. Now that was a perfect example of a shot call. KZ realized 3 of them had pushed Garage to get the kill on him. JV was supporting him and got 1 kill back. That was the trigger point. That was the shot call for Nade to drop site, for Felipox to drop site, to flood site. Because if 3 are in Garage, that means there is maximum 2 elsewhere in and around site. They get those kills and they clean it up from there. And I will say a big pop of the Goyo canister as well for the Felipox to trap the 2 players outside of site.
The thing that hurts me the most is that I think CAG made such a beautiful play using 3 players Garage, because we know some rank play as well. If you lose Garage control, there's so much bomb site pressure. That red hallway, you lose control over it. There will be bomb as well. You just can't really walk through the bomb site anymore. So sending 3 players a clear garage, genius. Glass is dead, also genius. It comes at a cost. It comes at a price.
It was the right play by both teams. That's what you want in the grand final stage. CAG, the right play to get that kill onto KZ because he was a huge threat for them. But a great shot call and a great reaction straight away from Furia. Decisiveness to get that round over the line. Like, had the CAG players killed KZ, maybe a 1-for-1 trade, got themselves back to the fight, that play doesn't happen.
Exactly. And the thing about that basement bomb site is that it's pretty safe. You got reinforced walls, hatches, etc. When you're going top 4 on that second bomb site, you're thinking, oh, we can bring Castle, Asami, Mira. Well, 2 of those 3 operators are gone. It has been a Castle, Asami operator ban, which means the bomb site is very open with nowhere to really hide or play from. And off the rip, JD from ATM Repel.
It's a classic.
Gets a kill. You hate to be that guy that dies to it.
It's a classic in my ranked game. Yeah, I will say.
The shame as well because Jibisu having that DMR on the Aruni, he was one of those main operators that CAG wanted alive to contest. Those long-range fights. Hang on a second.
Yeah, he knows.
Lurking downstairs. KZ hunting for a kill. Full information on Arkuli. Only can imagine that he mustn't have activated his ERC7 disruptor on the Vigil, his gadget, to try and prevent those drones coming through, and it leads to his demise. And now Furia are really in the driver's seat of this match. A little pre-fire from Anaton is lucky that magnetized to KZ's head.
That's gnarly. They reinforced all the CEO walls as well, so that heaven portion where KZ was playing from was very safe, but they've lost presence now. We saw Shield and Philipbox coming out. Echo is a great counter to the Blitz. If you stun a Blitz operator, he's gonna sideswipe his shield, expose the entire core of his body and his head. So with 1 Yoga drone and 1 player looking for a swing, they can try and get this kill. Blitz hears it though. Yoga stun missed, and he's got backup downstairs from Hertz.
Well, that Yokai is going to be deadly against this Blitz. It will force the shield back. However, a good shot from Hertz, and the Rayora comes out. The newest operator to enter the roster here in Rainbow Six, and people are still figuring out the best ways to use it. It's disrupting this crossfire. It's enabling Philippox to push on forward to take these fights. But Shuri takes down the Blitz. Trade back from Furia. They have those numbers, but CAG are still alive on site.
Want to see those crossfires now, but there are none. Again, the team flash. Doesn't matter. The injury is through Anaton. 1 minute to clock this round with 50 seconds left.
What an angle from Anaton, but quickly traded by Furia. Another valiant attempt from the Japanese. But these guys, when they're on the attack, you just can't count them out. You can't ever. Furia are simply incessant.
What do you do now, Freshy boy? I feel like with Castle Sami, that bomb site is doomed, no?
Yeah,
it's hard.
That bomb site is so much harder to play, particularly for the bans, but also one of the previous tactics in Rainbow Six Siege. Core? Is that what we're calling it? The previous Rainbow Six?
You call it core.
When you could jump out of the CEO windows, you
can't do it.
You can still do it, but you will on ADS, and you are much more likely to lose that fight.
We saw someone do it the other day. I think it was Fearex.
Yeah, it was
got the hip fire though.
Yeah, I think it was Rin on the hip fire shot.
We saw it in the show match. I will say the show match was played on Bank, and it didn't work out well whatsoever for us as a company. I will say Bank's a curious one because the basement bomb site, I think traditionally is the best bomb site.
Yeah.
Then I think a lot of teams prefer the CEO bomb site, but maybe now it will be open area as was the tertiary site, maybe will start becoming the secondary site.
The concern though is as soon as that Azami ban comes through, it's much harder to play inside of Staff Room, because typically you want to be playing on that B-bomb.
I think Bank, and correct me, you know, this is very much from feel, but I think Bank feels attacker-sided. Teams are comfortable attacking onto Bank.
Yeah, it was in one of the recent seasons. I'm not sure if it's changed, but I know last year Bank was very much an attacker-sided.
Certainly more so with the new bans as well, and the way that you can compound them, because previously with the old operator bans, you could only ban one of the defenders. Obviously, both teams had to ban each side. Whereas now, when you're attacking it, you can ban 2 defenders as well. So you can get rid of the Azami and the castle and really force it into attacker-sided Bank.
And you can ban whatever you don't want to deal with, and it resets on the flip side, right? So you usually say, oh, screw you defenders, you're gonna have a miserable time, and they will only be that same way if CAG, when they go to attack, will ban those exact operators. So things will change around unless you mimic the opponent, but since CAG are starting on defense, when they get on attack, they could be down on a 2-4-1/2 again, backs against the wall, Furia a bit lead, and that's where you don't want to find yourself. Furia now looking for a play, server stairs and electric door. They have such a good idea of where those defenders are playing from. Archives, tellers, by the bomb site door, Blackberry upstairs and janitors. Right now Furia, they're applying pressure from 2 different areas right now. The bomb site and stockroom up above, but again, no Asami, very hard to hold.
Straight into a Drew Mine for poor Felipox. A little bit of a spray through the wall from Black Ray, but it doesn't find the blitz as of yet. No more Goo Mines from Akali can be thrown upstairs. He's all the way down on site. He's watching that hatch drop, which is oh so much more difficult these days, which changes to aiming down sights while falling. Meanwhile, speaking of falling, CAG have gone back downstairs, giving up this map control to Furia.
I think that's really good from CAG. We talked about them maturing, we talked about them playing for win conditions. Their win condition was not fighting out on the top floor. It was getting back to site, pushing themselves, as you can see from this top-down POV, into tellers, into archives, maybe even down the basement hatches if they need to, and then flank and drop onto the attackers as they execute onto site.
They're very much playing the map, but there's a block upstairs from Casey who can rip that floor apart and take archives and Tiller's control.
Akali's position here, if he goes undroned, is absolutely massive, because he can cover the hatch drop and the window jump.
The question is, in Furia, what do they want to accomplish? A flank right now with a yellow ping information, looking forward, knows to survive this elevator position.
Black Ray, he has to win that fight, and he does. Rare to win a 1v1 like that when KZ knows you're coming, but he does.
Stay alive
CAG
now.
the advantage. That's the critical win condition, right, Jack? CAG need to just play passively. They have the advantage, and now they're looking to try and harass this blitz. Force him back. 25 seconds. The clock is CAG's best ally.
She keeps long for time. There's one Yoka left in the pocket, and Osprey goes through. Doesn't find the kill though. And Furia, they're locked out once more.
This is the concern for Furia. They haven't found the kills. They haven't found the plant. They have to go deep. But a kill from Felipox. They open the floodgates. CAG now, all they have to do is find this poor blitz planting on the side. The injure and the kill to come confirmed from Shurib. And Cyclops get themselves into the second map.
It's gonna be another one of those, I think, like Lair. Back and forth, weird rounds, different pacing, fast, slow. I love the Echo usage now. Two maps rather in a row, where they can get information, lash out, make a play, and then chill back on the bottom side.
This might be stating the obvious, but given that Furia are better gunners than Cyclops, Cyclops are having the most success on their defenses when they're not fighting them, when they're scarpering outside of sight, when they're basically being ghosts. What they want is they want Furia to drone position, have to re-drone it, check they're there, move, be fluid, and then eventually play for the late round. Because Furia, you know, I wouldn't say executing onto sight is their best thing. They want to be in brawls with teams. When CAG don't give them that boxing match, when they don't give them that brawl, Furia are showing some signs of weakness.
And despite that round being won by CAG, they're the ones that call their tactical timeout.
Yeah, and a lot of reasons for this, right? This could be you as a support staff talking about the third operator ban, really locking that in. Think about what you've noticed so far that is not going according to plan. You can also be noticing maybe a weakness from Furia, like Jack just mentioned very well there. They're struggling when you don't give them the gunfights. The issue is on Bank, without the castle, without the Asami, I feel like only basement and maybe open area this can work. When you go Archive Stealers, if you want to go that fourth bomb site, when you go top floor, you cannot hide from a fight. They will find you. So 50-50 in bombs of success there. But I'm curious what CAG are thinking right now. Very much so. Oh, you guys can't see the operator bands just yet, but we can.
Spicy one. Spicy two, actually.
So they're matching the energy right now. There is an Echo band coming out from the side of Furia and a Dokkaebi band from CAG. Had Echo survived the operator ban phase, he would be even stronger because Dokkaebi would have been banned.
It's a smart ban from Furia. For CAG, they clearly have already planned that Dokkaebi ban to enable the Echo play, which we saw quite successful on Lair. For Furia, that's a reactive ban. They've seen how good CAG are with those Obs tool operators, including the Echo and like the Valkyrie, and they want to ban that out so that we won't see Anderson playing that for the remainder of this half.
This is the biggest upgrade for me with this operator ban system, is that you can have your first two bands, which is prep work, expectations. The third and final band that we just saw, it's reactive. Okay, this Echo is a problem, let's get rid of it. And on the flip side, now CAG, they need to prep more than one play style on this map, because they know if they ban the Echo, we have to go to option B instead. So again, the dynamic of back and forth and counterplay, reading your opponent, it's so beautiful to watch.
And what is option B in this instance? Well, CAG, they're going down to the basement bomb site. They've got the Valkyrie on the board, the Mirror on the board, and 4 C4s alongside the smoke. This screams the win conditions, same old bank that we've seen for literally years at this point. Nick, you were still playing when teams were attacking and defending it this way. In terms of if you get back down to the basement and then play for the plant denial with all of those on the board. As it is, there's a couple of roams going on as well, so the round could be won or lost here for CAG. Again, their biggest win condition has been getting to that late round against Furia. If they fight them here, this could be big risky for them, and I think that's why we're seeing them retreat.
Yeah, it's a fine line. That timing for Chibisu was perfect, though. Could have been an easy swing there from that player on the top floor to cut him off, but thankfully he does get out alive.
It's about killing a drone and falling back step by step, but the issue is they've only killed 2 drones in the first 60 seconds, and they've fallen back mostly all the way downstairs, besides the main staircase itself. Actually looking for a re-aggress. Nobody watching cameras right now. They've doubled up, and they're looking for this. This could be huge for them if they find a kill.
Deadly, who's that on the top floor? Caught with his gadget out. KZ, sit down, son. Shuri now gunning for one, but Hertz gets him, and now looks to recompose. They do know that there's another player on this top floor, but Arkuli, he's scathed away over the front desk. There's a player repelling. Actually, as I say that, JV slinks back away again. Arkuli still not dealt with.
This is good because it forces Nade to go and drone the top floor. It forces Hertz to go and chase down this player. Yes, they get the kill, but it's wasted a whole minute. This is where the smokes, the 2 C4s that are still in pocket, can come into play, can be huge for CAG.
I will say though, Furia, they made a shot call very quickly saying, guys, we have to clear top floor player. Some teams there would ignore it, hit the bomb site, when the flank late round will be a problem. So they bought themselves time by getting that kill, but now, that C4 right there is actually could be a risky one to use. It doesn't find a kill. Now you only have 1 left for a plant deny, 1 left for a fish later on. There's still 45 seconds to go. The time is still on the attacker's side.
The one thing for Furia that they've got in pocket now is they've got 4 players alive. So as CAG are trying to play for plant denial, if it does happen, they can all push the bomb site at the same time and force numbers at this problem.
And there's a Valkyrie camera here in open area.
They got the fires, they got the bees, they're setting up the final drones right now. We're gonna see the U2 come out in a good old 3, 2, 1, execute down the hatch elevator, and one guy maybe dropping this A hatch with distraction.
It is going to be a rear push. Dangerous from Furia, but they have the numbers to make it work. And so down into the vault hatch, that's Nate. He's on the diffuser, he goes down. CAG have read this to perfection. They've got that camera in open area. They knew that this was a bait. They knew it was coming from the backside, and they were ready for it. But Philippox has found one. It doesn't matter, because the clock is on CAG's side, and that diffuser is cold on the floor in vault.
That's a big play on Mesa's flank.
Yes.
One thing is to attempt it, because you know there's enemies there, you know they have drones, because you missed them earlier. The reason why it's super, super risky, they didn't have information. There was no Mossy drone, there was no Valcam, I triple-checked. They raw-dogged the staircase, and it wins them the round.
And when they did that Mesa's flank, they caught a great timing, because I was clocking who was on drones. There was 3 Furia players on drones at that point. All of them droning out the middle floor. It was tellers, it was staff room, it was inside loan office, I believe, was the 3 drones. They had no coverage over main stairs. Who did they kill? They killed KZ on that IQ. Then what came in clutch? The Valkyrie camera in the open area that knew they were pushing the elevators, and the lobby side drops, and that's why they were able to position so well in the late round ready for these drops.
Sorry, I just saw that shot from Anderson on the dying garage. Absolutely filthy.
So this is how they got the perfect timings. When you're playing numbers disadvantage, you have to try and leverage, how much can you watch? So because there's, 3, 4 billion hatches, staircases, etc., and garage, they smoke off elevator hatch, have one guy watch the lobby drop, and then 2 guys can watch main stairs for one of them, and then the A hatch with the other. They basically even the numbers down and how many spots they can watch by using utility.
There's 7 entrances into that box.
Oh, you just counted it, yeah?
Main stairs, garage, 4 hatches, plus 6, and then the server room as 7.
Yeah. So you have 3 defenders. There's 7 ways. Smoke off one, hold the others.
That's why that information that 2 were going lobby side was so critical.
Yeah, and you want them coming down those hatches, don't you? Because that's when they can't aim down sights while they're falling in the new Siege X update.
It all comes together, James.
And it does. This round for me is the big one. It's the make it or break it, so to speak. It's that top 4 defense. If you can get a victory here, your bomb site will start unlocking, and you can go to a strong one afterwards, an open area, for example. If, however, you are unsuccessful, the best you can do is, of course, that 3-3 half. Getting this win right now could set you up for a 4-2, which defending on bank would be I mean, so incredible.
And already for CAG, this round is better than the last time they defended CEO Executive because they're not starting it 3 versus 5. They gave away 2 absolute freebies the previous time they defended them.
Let's see, Nate's going out, contesting that stock wall. Selma as well to breach it open. Again, Ratisami, it's hard. With Shurip dead, even harder. Again, hurts. He lost that staircase, walks up, takes the gunfight, wins out, and buys so much space. He's gonna keep going, actually. He's not gonna slow down at all.
This is classic Hertz for you. He loves being the tip of the spear. He loves getting aggressive. He misses his shot. Anderton tempted to re-peek this. Push it. It's dangerous. Hertz goes deep in for it. He has to switch over to the pistol, and he wins the fight regardless. CAG are dropping like flies, and it calls upon Arkuli making his way from up the stairs, but there is a flank watch. Philippok sees him, but doesn't win the fight. It's all down to the vigil now. KZ finishes the round for Furia. 1 left in the half for CAG to try and find some semblance of a defense.
I don't know if you agree with this, Mr. Pengu, but whenever we play ranked together a lot, and I'm coming back to ranked, whenever we play ranked together and we attack the CEO bomb site, have you ever been able to walk up square stairs so easily as Hertz has been able to do?
No, because most people have one of those 4 walls open when a line of sight and they challenge you. This time, the wall was soft. Feet holes in the wall.
Yeah.
You're kind of selling that spot on the map and giving it to the attackers.
And that's 2 rounds in a row. CAG have been leaving it completely open for Furia, and you give Furia anything, they're going to take it. And when you've got a player like Hertz, I know he very nearly whiffed the 2nd kill, but in the end he got the 2nd kill.
He did.
And that's the big thing. Gets himself in there, opens the round up, and again, not a classical Furia attack, you know, in terms of maybe wasn't the plan A for Furia, it's being able to find those kills and just compound it and snowball from there. That's exactly what this Furia team did.
I think it's much of a case of you drone, you look for a gap, and you go, guys, you can walk in this hole for free. There was a drone in front of her to the inter-janitors that was spotting the Valkyrie in the corner. So it wasn't a mindless Ash play. No. It was very much him getting in from his teammates and just going for an opening. Because that the 5 versus 4, they can risk losing a player, but in the end, I mean, they get them all.
It's playing exactly what you see in front of you and what the defense gives you, and that's exactly what Furia did. Now we're going to go to open area and staff room for the 6th round as we see KZ making a very fast, very aggressive play into the building as Nade gets the wall bang onto Arkuli as well, using that Lion to full effect.
Oh, but hang on a second. Anderton has not been accounted for. He'll find his kill and back on out. I don't believe that there will be a player in position in time to cut him off. The attempt, and I think Philippox has found it, that long-range angle. It's a bloodbath in the first half a minute of the round, and Shurip wins his as well, leaving both teams bloodied. A 3v3 with 45 seconds expended. Furia are keen to make this a pacey round.
CAG are fighting back, not playing for util, not playing for side. They want those TDM-like gunfights, high fire weapons in the smoke, Mossy, and the force.
I think Sharif's just been misdroned there inside of the teller's office twice. Potentially by Philippox.
He's gonna wait, hold that angle, get that free pick later on. This means the other 2 players from CAG, they have to play their roles correctly, play safe, lure them in, give them that space to feel comfortable, then go for that backstab and lash out together. But there's so much time in this round, so much can go wrong from either side. They have so much bombs and inflation,
there it is.
But there's the backstab.
Shurip left unaccounted for. Nobody successfully droned him. He's found one, but if Furia are able to find the opening on the side, it might not matter. In the back of that smoke, Shurip looks for his way. No, he changes his mind. He goes back towards the main stairs. Blackray, low HP on site. Shurip can't decide, does he want to wait out this smoke? It's a 2v2 still, and Furia have the time to re-drone. JV,
not again.
No way. Almost a 3rd misdrone. Shurip shoots it. His position exposed. JV superior in the advantage, and he will win the fight. Off to Blackray now.
He took the 1v1. It's so risky, but it could have paid off. Blackray has the bomb side, has the C4, has the advantageous position, but he has to look for the isolated 1v1.
Is there information here for Furia? Do they know where this mute resides? SMG-11 in hand, he looks for the headshot, but Nade gives him a new haircut, and Furia lock in the rest of that half.
What's the difference there between the last time Furia attacked it and this time? They brought the pace, they brought the aggression, they brought the Lion, the pre-placed drones upstairs, they were aggressive, they wanted the gunfights with CAG. They didn't want CAG squirreling away, not giving them, because they didn't want to execute out there on site. They wanted to win it in the gunfights.
There's not one right way to play out that 2 versus 2, but I do believe playing together is going to get you a better result usually. I would have loved to see CAG both play by the bomb side, both seek out that kill, instead of playing one guy hide and seek, one guy aggressively looking for a fight instead.
And that's what, when Igor got interviewed by Maria, the coach of Furia, when he was interviewed by Maria, just before we came back, he said, I think the difference right now is that we're dealing with playing in the final better. We've got the experience of playing in the final. It's those kind of moments, because we can look at it from a top-down perspective. We see every POV. These players are in it, and they've got to communicate. They've got to make that decision quickly. Furia consistently, across the previous map and this one, are able to do that in a late round, whereas CAG aren't. And so far, because again, CAG have been competitive, they've had the right idea in a lot of rounds. So far, that's the differentiating factor.
Players look at things very differently. Some players, often like the IGLs, the leaders, they can almost take themselves out of the game and look at this from a top-down perspective, like we are as well. CAG, they have recently, I said like in stage 2 of last year, October 2024, they adopted this new playstyle. That's still very recent, less than a year, changing from being very chaotic, very sporadic, all over the place, kind of in-your-face team, to playing more structured. And that comes with the inexperience of not looking top-down all the time, like other teams are doing.
Well, it's the flip of the switch. It's time for Furia to show us if they can hang it on defense like they can on attack. We've talked about how Bank tends to be one of the more comfortable maps for the attacking side, and CAG sure need to prove that here.
I need a smoke ban, by the way.
I was actually going to focus on attacker ban. You talk about the smoke ban first, Nick.
I was going to say, I feel like banning out the smoke or the Goyo speaks to being able to go fast, to not like have those annoying like time gators and of course plant deniers. And again, it's an operator that a lot of teams play on 2 of the bomb sites obviously here in Bank.
So Furia very often on Cafe, just speaking about the Twitch ban, they absolutely love banning away the Twitch. They often follow it up with the Bravos. We might see a little bit of a jump up, maybe not.
Potentially an exchange here. KZ, he's been spotted. Chibisu is able to find that head, almost misses opportunity, but that is a bit of a blunder from Furia's top fragger, typical top fragger, having a rough series here in the grand final today. Unfortunately for CAG, they can't maintain the numbers as Chibisu, the Nook, has been punished. Excuse me, Felipox spotted down below. That Nitro cell is not going to be successful, though it was a good idea. He's looking to try and make his way back towards the site. No, never mind that. He's continuing to roam.
So much action in the server, it's going very fast. Do you think you can make that point you want to make, Jack, before action happens again?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, we're going to hold it for now.
Let's talk about it after
We'll get back to it. Okay. So CAG, they get a foot in the door, they get a bit of map control, they get Felipox like low on HP now, and they burn out the only C4 left in the server. This is great, especially with that smoke ban. Time is on their side. Bit of a whiff there and then Candela, but you got more in pocket. You got to try and go again.
Lesion's proving a little bit of a difficulty here for the blitz of Anaton. Makes his way forward. Is there info on where this position is at JV? Yeah, and he wins it. Arkuli, though, did fall. It's an even trade. Does leave Furia worse for wear in terms of the HP battle, but Felipox finally finished off. Now CAG have the numbers advantage. They have to be sure not to give it back again. But guess who? It's Nade underneath the server hatch, and he's desperately looking for something a little bit more. Anaton likely to see him in a second, but not before he gets Shuri. He might get Annie as well. Hunter's come to support him. It's only Black Ray left. Another numbers advantage for the Japanese that they simply cannot hold on to. And Nade has dodged both of those nades. All up to the sentry now, the striker rather, and he won't find a damn thing. He is indeed struck down by Herds. A great kickoff for Furia on their defensive side.
They're so stubborn. They are so stubborn in their positions.
Yeah.
They will not give up any single position on the defense without a fight. And why wouldn't you when you're Furia? Because you know that you can outgun anybody in the world. And that's exactly what happened. When we were in a 4 versus 4 scenario, 3 versus 3 scenario, it was all being played out in tellers, archives, open area, staff room, nothing on the bomb site. Somebody could have, honestly, somebody could have waddled in from garage, from dirt, from absolutely anywhere into the bomb site. There'd have been nobody there. It'd have been a ghost town.
It's tough because they had those Valkyrie cameras about that server hatch. They had the yellow ping information. CAG, they did it well. They controlled the pace, they fought back, and they were really just gaining map control very quickly. And when they get to that 3 versus 2 with a blitz alive, use the blitz like a drone. figure out what server looks like. It was Hatch peeking first, then Blitz down the stairs, then Blitz goes to the ADS play. I don't think they realized the wall to the A-bomb was actually soft and open.
No.
Otherwise, Anderton wouldn't have taken that gunfight.
CAG had expended a lot of their drones and information on the middle floor. And obviously when they lost players and it got down to a 2v2, those drones are staying static because obviously the players are dead. There's no drone after death. Of course, not a concept that ever came in, and especially not into pro play.
Siege Mobile has it, actually.
So does CJX Dual Front.
Yeah,
there you go. He got it.
I was getting the name. I was
nice club.
On mobile, funny enough, I believe it has a battery. So it's limited how much
Same
you
on
can...
Dual Front.
Oh?
I've never exhausted a battery in my life.
Really? On Dual Front?
Really? It has a battery in the one?
Maybe that was an early build I played.
Okay.
Oh.
It may or may not. I actually don't know about that.
Over
But yeah, not a mechanic we have. It was in test server for a short moment, not in the live build, however. Operators from CAG now looking a little bit unusual. I see an Amaro, a Gridlock, a Sophia, and I'm thinking they gotta cook with the strat. DD, the coach of CAG, was told to me he creates these pocket strats for the team and they execute them.
There's lots of sound.
Look at this.
Okay, there's a lineup.
There's a lineup. There's lots of sound here. The Gridlock track stingers, the Sophia for the stuns, the Doe could be called.
Warden
waiting for it to come online.
Warden Echo, a C4 that can drop the hatch and go below. And maybe CAG actually gonna change their approach now with this rotation from Capital, but there are 4 players outside CO. You can see Furia, nothing's happening in the server elsewhere. They know they have to be going for these window plays.
Some kind of set piece, and the central piece will be Shuri on this Aruni, but Omaru rather, he needs to have an impact, but that's one! Felipox tosses his out and finds 2! Nothing for CAG to do now. 3 versus 4 still on their windows. What are you gonna do when Furia put a dead stop on your plan like that?
Sami buys so much space. The lack of operator ban working the side of Furia right now. I thought he was gonna jump out for a second there, but again, with that hipfire change, not worth the risk. CAG, they spent one of their fires. They have a spare in pocket. If they want to over Capital or use those grenades on Chibisu, they could force Felipox out of the corner and perhaps get a kill back. It's a rotation. They're not sure what to do right now. They're pretty much locked out of the map.
Oh, it rolled off, stuck in a lens. Unfortunately, that castle barricade cannot be cleared now by CAG. Could not get themselves in the position in time. It's going to need to come down to Anderton. Coming here from the front desk side, coming from those stairs. Aggressive peek from KZ, he loses his life. That might be the in for CAG, but Anderton loses his. I think that might be the end of it for CAG. Furia, though, a couple of their players bloody. They need to make sure to land these shots, and they do. Easy close. And Furia continue to march their way forward. It's match point here on Bank for Furia. CAG barely able to find their way into Bank.
It's heartbreaking because it's so close and you see the vision, and yet we're so far off pulling that off once more. Whether it's the Asami or Felipox getting the first kill, the guys, Spider-Man repelling in lobby, and then getting the second. Not, clearing Felipox with the grenade afterwards. It's those very small mini games where CAG are losing out again.
It's ultimately the difference between a good team and a great team. I think the best way to put that there, Nick, is like CAG are doing a lot of things right, but they're not doing everything right. And I think specifically the one thing that I'm loving from Furia here, Hertz did it in the previous defensive round. Whenever his teammate was making a play or having a play made on him, went and supported him from side. Here, when Felipox is making a play, he makes a great play. Anderton tries to refrag that, and I believe it was Hertz or Arkuli that steps in, not Arkuli, sorry. I think it was Hertz that stepped in to try and cover the back. We saw Anderton get himself off that Spider-Man rappel because he was being contested. He was the best player to refrag Felipox, couldn't. So it's all these mini little moments of aggression where Furia are doing it together and in sync, and where CAG are just falling to that.
A big weakness in last round to me is just how slow they were at setting it up. You saw Furia all looking at the CO windows. It's gonna happen, guys, because they're not in lobby, they're not in heavy, they're not in stock.
Exactly.
So either you gotta go fast for those pocket strats, or you need to fake it by applying pressure elsewhere, poking and prodding, and then go for your strategy. CAG on the attacking side now, when it's no longer a base and roam clear, are struggling at controlling the pace. It becomes more readable for Furia because of it. Glass, a Ying, a Blackbeard. Dare I say this might be another pocket strat. There is no Warden this time. No real counterplay. Smoke is banned. Remember, so they want to go fast. When you gotta go for these fast strats, you need to actually go fast. No slowing down, no stopping again.
And we're a minute into the round,
60 seconds. They're gonna go for it right now.
Goes the Blackbeard, but not into sight rather, but into nearby archives, not actually going directly in. Even now, there's a rotate hole. There are players looking to make their way up from the blue stairs, though. There needs to be a cutoff here. I believe that's Chibisu and Black Ray.
And now it's so obvious, it's so scripted again. They know.
CAG need to bait this. They need to not play to hard hold it. They need to play to bait these players. Chibisu, the one to try and cover off Felipox on that flank. The exothermic charge likely to detonate here from Black Ray to breach open this wall. JV goes down, and eventually the bait is successful. However, the Blackbeard's gone down, so's Chibisu. Might not matter for CAG. They recompose with the numbers advantage. Arkuli desperately trying to deal with the player outside of Stock. He takes the gamble and loses it to KZ. A punishable error here, and now Black Ray and Anaton are left with it all to do.
They only just opened the wall. The exothermic charge was there for the past 60 seconds or so.
Yeah.
Nothing happened with it. Okay, saving grace. There are Candelas in the pocket of Anaton. There are these pockets on the side of the keeper barriers, denying lines of sight. This could work in this favor of CAG if they can blind nade and run deep towards the bomb site. They have smoke grenades as well. They can still make this happen, but I don't want to see them go for a plant attempt. You gotta get at least one kill, then play the 2v1.
Oh, and they know exactly where KZ is. That's some good pre-placed drone work. But guess what? It enables Nate to go aggressive. The Incandela detonates at the perfect moment. Anaton, though, has he made his way inside yet? Is he able to regroup here with Black Ray? 7 years these two players have teamed together on Cyclops. All they need to do is find Nade, the lone Brazilian, holding onto the side and looking for a chance to send his team to a 2-0 lead here in the grand final. And Nade just has to wait. He sees one, but Black Ray denies it. Not today. CAG will keep fighting.
Playing it slow, playing it smart, but it came down to Black Ray winning 2 separate 1v1s. There was a red ping, sure, but we saw Anaton outside the building throwing Candelas as he took the fight. That determines the entire round.
And again, I actually, this is probably one of the first rounds in this entire best of 5 that we've seen where I feel like CAG have got away with it. Yeah. Where Furia controlled the round better, but CAG managed to win it out in the end. And I will say it was close because they clearly wanted to do something fast. That operator lineup, it was very clear. It spoke to that. And I think the good thing for CAG, they were ready for the pockets of aggression. They were ready for the flank. They were ready for Hertz pushing himself into Tellers. They dealt with it. I thought they'd thrown it away there. When Arkuli just sprinted away back to stock, don't know what he's
thinking.
I don't know what he's thinking. At least have the 1v1 fight. If you have to move out of the position, have the 1v1. Black Ray was controlling top square. The only place he could die from was stock, and he showed his back to it. But in the end, and Black Ray, I actually want to speak about him a little bit because he's moved on to the firm. He's moved on to the support role. And I think for people who have been watching CAG for a long time, or say you watched Six Invitational 4 or 5 years ago, you would assume Black Ray is an entry fragger because he played on the front line for this team a long time. He's still got it when he needs to, even though he's on the goggles.
Washed up Ashmain gets a chance at greatness.
10 seconds remaining.
Don't know if it was deliberate or not, but I love when teams play it very slow in a 2v1 and just kind of bleed out your opponent. Nate is full of adrenaline, ready for a fight, ready for the clutch. He's in visualizing his head as well. Nothing happens for a full 60 seconds.
Don't get too excited, Pengu, but I know what you've already seen, and I just want you to sit yourself down if you're not gonna. So the Tachanka is in.
Okay, that's actually not what I was talking about right here. I was talking about like the smoke, maybe the Goyo Bang coming out, but you, Jack, was saying how they like to do it on the map, bend the Twitch, and double down on Brava. You might finish the point fully, but it has happened.
So they ban away the Twitch and the Bravo. Because of that, they do this on Cafe. They clearly like to do it on Bank as well. They like to play loads of Maestro. They're not particularly playing a lot of operators similar to this, but when they do it on Cafe, they play loads of Maestro, loads of bulletproof cameras, loads of Malusi, loads of Valkyrie. Anything you would default back to take in a Twitch or a Bravo against, Furia will then play it and use it against you. Change their win condition entirely from playing for the gunfights, then playing the utility. We've seen it throughout here. Again, only really the Maestro, the bulletproof, and I suppose the Fenrir of JV, because you're not, unless you're shooting them, you're not getting rid of any of those Fenrir F-Nats.
And they got the Tachanka because smoke is banned, so it's full cycle right now.
It's double
the Goyo is banned as well. Candela used to force back those roamers, and this is where you're saying it, Jack. They're playing for utility, they're playing for plant deny. They don't want the fight. One Candela, they are out of there. I will say this though, I think with the Monty being banned, having a Blitz right now could be excellent for a plant attempt, that second kind of shield operator, but you're up against Maestro and Tashanka. I'm not sure if a plant is going to be possible, even if it's what CAG wants.
They're always keeping CAG guessing. The last time CAG attacked this, Furia was 5-man off-site, on the top floor or on the middle floor, fighting them tooth and nail. Now, it's been a minute 30, CAG have not seen one gunfight yet. So they're attacking into different defensive strategies every single time. That's a real strength that Furia have for them. And again, they're manufacturing it very much because of the way that they're banning operators.
They've even gone as far as to surrender server in control to CAG. There's no defenders anywhere but deep inside the pliable shield, and you see that the train of thought. Tashanka, main plant denier. Maestro can sit comfortably on the cameras. There's no Togepi right now. That would be the big counter that there could be potential for. They have Warden to see through smokes. They have then the Fenrir mines rather, to stop any entries. Will they just try and brute force this? Like,
very risky. Believe there has been some denial up above. KZ, though, protected by his keeper barrier. Absolute genius. He protects his position. He enables that swing and the denial of that plant. Now Anaton is down. Another keeper barrier makes things awkward, but Chibisu has fought back. Traded again. These Evil Eyes now reactivated, and the fire comes to life in the side. Hertz takes the opportunity to go for a swing. Akali and Blackray again. The OGs left to duo it out with 16 seconds left in the tank here. And Furia, all they've got to do is wait. And they've got plenty more utility to hold on to. Akali from the rear side. Nade and Filippo to shut it all down. Furia are 2-0 in another grand final. And CAG cannot get themselves in it. The Brazilians come to life again, and there's just one more map that stands between them and another trophy raised here in Brazil.
Is so comfortable walking around the map, picking gunfights. Is the strategy to beat an aggressive team being more aggressive than them?
No, I don't think so. Philippox was telling us to play more slowly sometimes, but I said to him one round that I'm just going without drone, and I went there and we won the round, but the most of the rounds we were playing like sometimes not too much aggressive, because we knew that they were coming to us, so we were just stopped. Waiting for them, but sometimes we're playing aggressive, putting our game to them to show them that we are aggressive too. We can be aggressive as they can too. Yeah.
CAG was the one controlling the rhythm of the match yesterday. Why it's so hard to do that against Furia?
I mean, we are an aggressive team, but out of all the Brazilian teams, I think Furia, the aggressiveness that they have is unmatched, and we're just not like, we can't really play in, like, they're in our world right now, and I think it's very hard for us right now. Like, we don't know what we're doing right now, like a lot of miscommunications and stuff, but this break time, we're gonna use that as we're gonna use that time to talk about the last two games and how we're gonna play the third, fourth, and fifth map.
Igor and the boys were the first Brazilian team to raise a Rainbow Six trophy on home soil, and they could do it again here today. We're in Rio, and Furia are 2-0 up in the grand final against CAG Osaka, who unfortunately have only looked weaker as the series has gone forward.
Sure, yes, it's 2-0, yes, they're winning, but it's Furia. We expect this, now that CAG done such a good job so far.
And so the question is begging, will Furia get it done in 3, or can CAG push it the distance? Let's find out.
The goal for CAG was not to make the grand finals, but yet they find themselves right here, right now. Yes, they're down 0-2. That's not what they planned to happen, but it's where they find themselves They should be proud. They should be happy to have done what they have done this tournament. And yes, the scoreline looks brutal, 7-4, 7-3, but it could be much closer than that. And dare I say it, CAG could and maybe should have won Lair.
And we've actually seen these teams play on Cafe before. At the 6th Invitational, Furia and CAG Osaka met. It was an 8-7, just barely edged out in favor of the former world champions. CAG absolutely have a chance here, especially on Cafe.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a map that I pin as their #1 preference map out of all 9 of them, James. The one thing that I will say is that they absolutely love the map. However, Furia at this event have looked phenomenal on Cafe. And I will say it again, the new operator bands coming in, the way that they've been approaching it, they've been doing well in their defense, and they've got a very specific plan for that. As we will see it, they've gone away from it. They've gone to take away the Azami and the Montaigne. So they've stepped away from the Twitch and the Brava, the Azami and the Montaigne, the Grim and the Montaigne. They've stepped away from the Twitch and the Brava of old.
Yeah. Interesting. I do like this because I think Monty is an operator that for the attackers could just really simplify the attack inside. Walk in piano, walk down the wide hallway, and just be very comfortable. It feels like to me the longer the series goes on for is Furia trying to make CAG as uncomfortable as possible on their attack inside, taking away all their comfy picks where energy can just kind of lead the charge, force them to more gunfight-oriented play or problem-solving utility.
Yeah, and talk about comfort, it's not very comfortable at all playing on the attacker side of Cafe, a map where you have to spend the whole round repelling and outside windows, and frequently you're having to execute just to get your boots in the building. And Furia, well, they're looking to take the fight outside as well. KZ poised for a peek and then decides to slink away after shooting the drone that was watching his flank.
Kali being played, not all that common, but it can deal with the mirror windows, of course. You can shatter them with the gadget. They skip everything out deployable shields, which there are 2 of in this round. So it comes down to Furia saying, we're going to put up all these obstacles, all these problems for you to solve, and unless you solve them all perfectly, you're not going to have a chance in this round.
Well, that's the thing. There's 3 Rooney gates, 2 mirror windows, 2... Oh! 2 Echo drones and 2 shields as well that they've got to deal with, and the KZ that's going to be a thorn in the side of the attackers as they look to repel out there on Cafe.
It's going to be brutal. CAG, I think the most important thing for me is that they need to have continuous progress in this round. If they stall now, we're not dealing with the 90 pixel shield inside piano, for example, then they cannot progress. Once they clear that shield, if they don't clear the mirror window or shatter it, they cannot progress. They need to make steady pace, and right now they're mostly stuck on the roof right now, just kind of mapping out what does the building actually look like on the interior. They see it, the echo, the shield, now they gotta deal with it.
I feel like KZ here is going to be a big determining factor in the opening engagement. There it is. He's been linked in for a fight the whole round. Chibisu finally gives him one and gets rid of him off the board. Big for CAG because they know there's a player in Pixel, even though they know Herds is going to take him down anyway.
Incredible that he escaped with 1 HP, running through that fire on the back of that gunfight. Herds is lucky to be alive.
Missing the catch though, right? Nobody on the white hallway window, nobody on the white staircase window, so he runs away completely for free. Missed time there for CAG, and time is running low. 60 seconds, only 1 attacker inside the building, 3 guys on rappel, 1 inside a cigar door. C4 maybe tossed on out. Let's see it. There it is.
Big nitro cell and a big impact as well.
And the retake.
Retake here from Felipox. He's deep into piano and he sprays on through. Him and Nate together. All up to Annie now, dropping down from the new hatch. He finds his spot inside a shop. He's just waiting for the peek. There's 2 players looking for their opportunity. Finds JV, quick headshot, looks for another one. Tempted with the pistol is Nade. Felipox, a lot of damage done. Furia, be careful not to feed this one, but Herds on 1 HP, doesn't give a damn. And he will chase down the last player from CAG. Furia, fiery as always.
We need to see some life. Fresh review from CAG. If they can get locked down strategically, it's going to be so hard for them to problem solve these things. And again, they looked locked out from the beginning of that round.
Do you know who I'm going to give that round to? That round victory to? I'm going to give that round victory to KZ, and I know it seems crazy.
Okay.
I know it seems crazy, so stay with me. KZ was being the thorn in the side of CAG. He was wanting to run out white. He was wanting to C4 up the red hatch. Chibisu on the Twitch got off the Twitch drone. He got off the Twitch drone to get the kill onto KZ. Great stuff for him. Gets the entry kill. What didn't he do? He wasn't on his Twitch drone shooting out an echo cam. that was pinged inside of Piano. That echo cam was then the big determining factor when KZ was dead to allow this aggression. You can see the red thing there on Philippox. You can see how quickly he retook Pixel because he knew it was clear, because KZ was sat on the echo drone that was alive. Absolutely massive. So yeah, that just goes to show being an entry death isn't always necessarily a bad thing.
No, you get to watch the cameras, and also when you're playing so much utility on defense, you can have one guy playing very loose. If you go back in the day, Old Empire, back in Europe, they had what I would call the 4+1 strat. 4 people playing together on defense with a set strat in mind, and then Joystick playing Jaeger, roaming around just taking gunfights. It reminded me a little bit of that, where there's a core that knows what they need to do together, and a guy that can do whatever he wants, of course, supporting the bigger picture.
CAG did have an idea on that last round. They knew a lot of those operators that were brought to the table. They brought the IQ and the Twitch to hunt down the Echo, and it didn't work. So CAG are trying to throw ideas, creative and good ideas, at the problem. But this chaotic playstyle from Furia is far too difficult to comprehend.
That's the thing. CAG have been trying every single round. They've been adapting, they've been trying different solutions to different problems, but Furia, they keep just shutting them down. If it's not strategically, then it's a clutch. If it's not a clutch, it becomes utility. It's so hard to win for CAG because they have to win on every single front, every single round.
I was once speaking to a support staff member from a different team, and I won't say who, but they were saying with Furia, every map they've got 6, 7 different strategies that they can play on any given site, and then probably 6 or 7 adaptations of that strategy, depending on what they believe your weakness is, and they will go for the throw, and they understand the win conditions of everything perfectly, and that's what makes them so hard to play against, because they can change on a dime how they want to play. They're not an aggressive team. They're not a late round team. They can do absolutely everything, and they do it with conviction.
Fury is the perfect team to play if you want to get tested to your limits, but right now CAG, they'd rather just have a free map than getting tested, because this is the grand finals. Airjab goes out, nothing happens, JV dies behind him instead. Opening kill for CAG, but again, the timer, 1 minute 20, we're all outside the building, more or less. Yes, progress is being made, but that bomb site, it's so distant for us.
There's still so much util to clear on that bomb site. Both of the drones from the Brava were ineffective at clearing out those Banshees. The Twitch drones now, I believe both have been expended. And CAG, while they have the numbers, they don't have all the utility cleared, and they don't have any players ready to try and gain ground on the map. Meanwhile, KZ, as always, you said it, he's that 4+1. He goes deep, he looks for opportunities, and he's found one. Herds as well, upstairs. Thankfully for CAG, they've made the numbers even, and Arkuli has snuck into library here. Meanwhile, Blackray finding his kill. Philippox looking to hunt down Arkuli. And if he times this right, he could bring things back into Furia's favor.
Got one player stuck in a corner. Look at that movement, there it is, sprints away, gets the freebie back to a 2-on-2.
But they know now where these last 2 players are. Both of them finding kills. Chibisu, the last one, standing here for CAG. Philippox and Herds, they don't need to make a move. They can go together. Chibisu will find one, but not the second. Furia maintain control on Cafe.
Across the 23 rounds that we've played so far, Furia are -9 on entry. -9 on entry, yet 2-0 up in the maps, 2-0 up in the maps and 2-0 up in the round. Their ability to draw these rounds back, to bring these rounds back and to play out the situation, especially in the late rounds, keeps getting them over the line.
It does.
Again, another round CAG have lost from man advantage.
And I gotta say, this in particular, how they go back to a 4v4, that KZ run out, that can be stopped in so many ways. The issue is top left, there's 1 drone left in the round with over 60 seconds to go. CAG had no information. The only intel operator they had left, you know, Anakin on a Blackbeard, for example, was on Repel, who then dies. You need to, when you get that opening kill, convert that into a round victory, into a round lead. And often CAG, they'll get that opening pick, not much happens, a gunfight occurs, and they either bet to even numbers or they fall behind. They really just gotta hold on. I think if CAG can go quicker in the early stage of the round, they can have a more comfortable mid to late stage. They'll have more time, they'll have more drones, and hopefully also more map control if they are successful.
It's funny when you can have 80% of the round go your way, but that last 20% at the end where Furia keeps bringing out these 2v4s or 3v5s, Well, then the scoreline is going to represent it. And I tell you what, that is not a way to kick it off for CAG.
Opening kill technically for CAG?
Technically, yeah. I mean, Furia back to -8 on the injuries. Well done, Furia. They did really well there. Not what you want, especially because it's a breacher as well. So, because it's a breacher, no hard breach now exists on the side of CAG. Which means if they wanted, their plan A was a full clear and they wanted to breach the hatch as in the dining room there, they now can't if it is reinforced. They will not be able to, which means the traditional way of attacking, and it is reinforced, we've just seen on the vault camera there, the traditional way of attacking of dropping down the hatch and looking for a plant, they can't do. What they now need to do is convert into either a VIP-sided take or a bakery-sided take, and they need to make that call quickly. If they spend another minute figuring that out, it's going to be a big problem for CAG.
That's the benefit of shooting down to themselves in the spawn of things. You got C4 right now, they would have a full minute less to figure out what the problem-solving skill is going to be at. They got them what's it called, the blitzer. They got the blitz operator. They can brute force bakery. They can brute force VIP. They gotta pick one. If it's me, I'm droning out. I'm finding the warden. If he's playing VIP side, which he is, you go bakery, because there's the one stopping power to the blitz operator.
What is the play?
VIP.
Oh, Chibisu's found one, almost a kill here as well. Arkuli brings the numbers back into CAG's favor, and perhaps there is a way that this can work without hard breach. But it does mean they'll need to take down Hertz in his power position on this warden, and the blitz is going to be the tip of that spear. He's got to go in forward first and try and knock this warden out of contention. But he's not going to be able to flash him. He needs his teammates to support it.
Glass is popped early, has to go off now to regenerate essentially, and to go for a rotate. They saw the ward now, they're gonna go elsewhere instead. Baker double door, and anybody home in, gate pop, V4 cam as well. He's gonna keep aggressing.
Deep from Chibisu, it forces nade back, he knows about it, and he composes, looks for a chance to try and find the kill. Damage taken from another angle. Meanwhile, Anderson, where is he pushing? He's come to regroup as well, and he's the player with the diffuser. Still a defender upstairs with the potential for Vertical to deny this plant, but if it's Anderson, it might just be possible. And now Blackray, he's found the opener, but the long-range angle from JV! He comes up, the hero as always! Victory for Chibisu! Oh, CAG, you've done it again!
A clutch finally happens for the side of CAG, and the crowd starts booing. It was about damn time. But it might be a little bit too late at this point.
I just needed it so badly.
I thought they'd made the wrong decision. I thought they'd made the wrong decision when they had Hertz locked inside a VIP in a 3v3 with a shield. I'm thinking, go and kill him, make it a 3 versus 2, play it out from there. To be fair to CAG, with conviction they went to Bakery. And it needed a clutch, so probably the wrong decision, but the round went in their favor. And they needed something, they need a crumb to hold on to. Because Furia are one of the best teams in the world at snowballing. 1-2, obviously. Still not great, but a lot better than 0-3.
A wise man once told me, it's much better to have 5 people following a bad plan than to not have a plan at all. That was a bad plan, but they committed to it. They were all in there, tanking a renegade, full sending. You see, they had the nerves, the composure.
I don't even know how they're feeling. This game's raising my heart pressure, never mind theirs.
I think it's so critical as well that it was Chibisu that found that clutch, because he was the one that got the team kill at the start of the round. He was likely kicking himself for losing that hard breach. The fact that it was him to get that clutch, I mean, that's the fire that CAG need under their feet to continue to expedite this.
He's forgiven.
5 seconds forgiven.
It's okay that he killed me because you want us to round, buddy. It's good.
Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
Furia are still so scary to play against. You can find one round like that. There's anything going for CAG, I will say. We saw the player reactions there, and JV didn't look too happy.
JV never looks happy when he's playing in the server. Then after the server, he's smiling, he's cracking jokes. He's a prankster.
Yeah, he is.
He absolutely is.
Yeah.
He was teaching a lot of the non-Portuguese speakers some interesting phrases to say to each other, to say the least, whilst we was over there in group stage.
He was trying to get me to say some heinous things last night, and I did not partake.
We did have a drink with JV last night, it's worth saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
James
is on me.
We became very good buds.
He did toast to all the casters.
Yeah, he also toasted to CAG as well.
He did.
And I went to bed. He was still out, by the way. him and Herds were actually
doesn't seem to be affected.
They were
either
team bonding for synergy. That's what they were doing, and they're showing off in the server so well because, again, they always have each other's back.
Yeah, they do.
I'm not sure what to do from CNG right now. Yes, you won that round. It was off a clutch. If that's what you need to win a single round on Cafe, it's going to be a long road ahead of you.
Yeah.
Good utility usage with the Twitch drone, popping utility. They got the blind beard. Worth noting, the mirror was spent by CAG and the blitz by Furia.
Feels like a half clear here. As long as they control Piano and control the hatch above train, they control the entrance into site, and they can play on that white window, on the dining room window, and then play for a plant. That's how they're currently shaping up.
Yeah, but again, opening kill to Furia now, 2 rounds in a row technically. Air tap going off, but a double flank up and below. Covers, trades his teammates perfectly.
Nobody watching, and nobody able to refrag on the JV. Anderton goes deep, but Philippox ready for the aim down sides. Attempted refrag eventually comes through here from Blackray. But he's taken very low on HP, and he's so separated from his teammate, Arkuli. 2 versus 3. I think Arkuli might have just seen that cross, or has JV just hidden? I believe he has. Arkuli doesn't seem aware of it. A lot of damage dealt to him. Eventually, the DMR proves true here for Arkuli.
HP's so low that if either of these 2 players get into a gunfight, they probably die to 1 bullet, and we're getting to that late round. Obviously, Furia know what's coming now. They know that the attack is from train over, so they can play as such. Good use of the destructive elements there, though, to get rid of Blackray's position, to buy a little bit of time.
Has to play for a kill here for the attackers. They gotta find at least one flashback going out.
It's a good flash, but KZ while blind goes crazy. Arkuli 1v2 now. DMR hits down the door, walks into the Banshee. KZ for 2. Furia, how on earth you can control them?
They, in my opinion, they really are the best team in the world at reading into what their opponent is going to do. I don't think CAG are being particularly great at masquerading the fact what they're going to do. They're not creating a lot of false pressure. They're not opening windows, doors, creating pressure on other sides of the map. As soon as Furia have a read that that's a half clear, they know they need to get rid of the player holding Piano. They do that instantly, and then that's the trigger point. They float, they flank, and they change the dynamics of the round completely. They control these rounds so well.
It's understanding what is worth for us as Team Furia. One guy tanks the air jab on top red cigar door, and then we got some of the basement player Purge walk up. They're happily taking a 1-for-1 kill there because they disrupt the plan and they pinch in the middle of the map, stopping a possible execute later on.
That half clear only works. It only works if the attackers can control the Piano hatch, because you're trying to crouch through the fireplace. You can't do that if there's a defender on the hatch. And Furia realized that super quickly, played to stop that happening. That change, how many times are we going to say that CAG have been forced into plan B, C, D for whatever they're doing? Furia keep changing that dynamic because they're reading into it so early on.
And now in a different setup again, utility, right? The castles, they are Rooney, so we're going from a very fast-paced round where Furia, they're happily taking these gunfights to a utility setup with a little flare of a spawn peak as well.
2 rounds left in the half as well, putting the pressure on for CAG. Not many more chances. Wow.
So close.
Furia just pre-firing every single window, keeping CAG honest.
That's the thing about cafes. If you do these aggressive mini plays, spawn peeks, etc., you can really slow down the attackers. Their spawn is quite far away. It can take you 10 seconds to get to the building, or 30, 40 seconds watching all those different windows. And again, they're applying pressure everywhere. It's gonna re-peak the gunfight even.
Yeah, I mean, Shurip's scared. When you see KZ re-peaking you, you don't want to take that fight. I think that's a bit of a story here, and KZ's also going to get healed up again.
Go again.
Furia, they're playing this dock to lean into these overpeaks, knowing full well it doesn't matter if they get lit up.
It's smart. Keeps up the pressure while playing a shot again. The 4+1, he's on his lonesome downstairs. Meanwhile, CAG clearing utility, getting their first step done. Flashbang spam. Are they going to make a play here or what? No. Sophia stunning. The pixel and Piano. No character to speak of. Plenty of grenades, but not in the right positions, perhaps?
Slow from CAG.
Still in the corner.
Trying to bait the peak from Furia, and eventually the upside down repel from Chibisu. And Anaton's got his boots in the building. He's looking for one. The nade comes out. That's really nice. That will clear out the position. Is he able to find the kill as well? JV looks to not re-peak.
He needs to dodge the C4s now, but he does have another nade. If he gets to the breach, the player is locked in barback storage. He can get that nade kill from Anaton. Here comes the C4, though.
BP got grenaded out successfully, so the blind yellow ping is very outdated, and things gonna miss, doing a little bit of damage, but he stays alive, very important. He has that piano information and the pressure, but who's helping him? Right now it's nobody. KC, maybe finding a nope. Playing that 4v5, wants to play numbers by going back up the right stairs instead.
JV is also still in backstore and watching the position of the Blackbeard.
Hey!
Anaton's got no support. Where is the pig from the rappel? Chibisu! That was on you! Shuri finally redeems them. It's all up to Nade. Black Cray and Arkuli still up, still with full HP. They hunt him down into the corner now. Pistol in hand. Pistol whipping the best he can. But the lock-in from CAG. They find their second round of attack here on Cafe with a long way still to go.
That's a CAG round right there.
Yeah.
Massive blunder into round victory.
Probably the most convincing manpower round victory they've had in a while as well.
How does Chibisu not peek from that window when his teammate died to the hallway?
Hey, his job was to hold Casey downstairs. Okay, that was his job. It was Anaton who had to swing the hallway, okay? In the perfect world, we help each other there, clear the hallway, hold the flank. They didn't go for it.
I think I need to sit down.
I know.
You want a chair, James? I can go get you one for you.
I'm good, thanks.
We're all, I would say, Siege purists at heart. We want to see the team play aspects of this come out.
Screw that. I want to see teams go crazy.
Okay, you just want to see CAG win. You want to see APAC do it well, Jeff. But again, the team play there for CAG was abysmal.
Yeah.
Sharik managed to find a big double just following up on the chaos late round, and from there he went out, but absolutely crazy, because I don't think CAG deserved that round.
The benefit there is that that's like the old style CAG where they full commit to quote-unquote the wrong play, but nobody backs out and gets cold feet. If Chibisu goes, okay, we're losing our Blackbeard, I'm gonna go back and drone, you lose the round. He keeps walking forward, boom, boom, 2 kills. It's not about what went wrong, it's about what you can do to make it right afterwards. 2-3 with a potential even half is great. CAG going 2-4, I was an expected outcome, if anything. Then it comes down to your defensive side. How good can you be there? But CAG, you are correct. I think the team play aspect right now looking much more lackluster than the first 2 maps.
It's really funny how Siege works. It's really, really funny. There's a world where Furia have controlled and strategically won every round of their defense, and it could be 3-3 on the half.
Yeah. Now, we spoke a bit about the possibilities like the Twitch, the Brava ban, you know, Furia playing a lot of utility, the Maestro. They are really not wanting to play into it. They are just tailoring the setup based off operator bans. Chibisu right now, with the Dokkaebi, maybe expecting the potential for either, you know, an Echo, a Maestro, a Valkyrie. There is a Valkyrie on the board. There's no IQ to find the cameras. Risky gunfight doesn't really do much damage on either side. Nate stays up. Skylight drop? No.
This is so awkward. Eventually a flash does land. Is there able for CAG to get into it? Finally the kill comes through, but at what cost? Blackray and Arkuli have eaten dirt. Another kill now for JV. Desperation for Shuri and Anaton as the Blackbeard finally finds his second kill.
What's happening right now? I mean, CAG are in the building. Okay, boots are down on the ground. But man disadvantage.
Man disadvantage, top floor control is established. I'm sure if you gave Furia this option, 3 versus 2, but you give up the top floor, they would absolutely take it.
Yeah.
Sharip's now got 2 breaching charges left. Very, very important, because there will be players underneath vertical. If they can manage to find just 1 kill from the verticality, this is still a winnable round for CAG. Yeah. But if they try and execute 2 versus 3, especially with Blackbeard on that shield, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, they're going to get flank, push, too many sides all at once.
You can't hold the white stairs, the red stairs, the site, the push in from site, assuming that you got reading side. Pillars as well, you just can't do it. So you need to level that man count.
Gotta go fishing right now, and you got 50 seconds to do so. The vert pretty good, but timing, missed opportunity. Airdrop goes down, but at what cost? He's on the piano hatch, so I think it's opened up. There might be a way we can isolate this player of Philippox inside of mining, and then it's also, of course, the bomb site.
This is a nasty position from Philippox, though. The feet holes are going to play into his advantage, and he's got Hertz to support him as well. Hertz might actually bait the push in from Shuri. The feet holes still playing in the favor of the player on the other side, but what is that from Anaton? Dropping straight into the chaos! And Philippox finds his kill! Furia continue this mayhem! And CAG, despite their best efforts, cannot find another round!
Do or die for CAG's defensive side, and or a testament to how good Furia can be on the attack.
And reminder, Attack has generally been what CAG has been good at this event. And this is how they've got through. They significantly improved their attack win rate. Obviously, Furia, the best defensive team in the tournament. We've seen it there. Bans have started coming in.
Yeah. There's a bank story on one side. The good old Asami and Castle going through.
Yeah.
Of course, Furia again want to open up the map, not give them any safe space, try and play those opening kills, and give CG less to hide behind.
They really compounded the Furia with their bans. Like you say, as we get into it, we're going to see Azami and Castle. That's what you've just said. Now, think about how teams would play Azami Castle, particularly on Cafe.
Yeah, all about piano, right?
All about piano, particularly for those shop holds.
Yeah.
It's very much for that reason. Obviously, you can make Castle work on the basement bomb site. You can also make Azami work on the basement bomb site. But it's particularly for the cocktail bomb site and then the reading and the mining bomb site.
Yeah. On the other side, it's Grim and Capital. That's not true. It's Grim and Blackbeard being removed from action. I personally am a huge fan of banning Grim on Cafe. There are so many soft floors, verticality. Those red pings, you're just going to be stuck in a corner with nowhere to go because the window repels, plus the guy shooting you. It's kind of like a Giga Deimos, because it's an AoE effect, of course. But I don't know if that's what Furia had in mind. You mentioned Furia's defenses, they can play the utility. Do they also have a style attack that you know of? Maybe, maybe not?
No.
I personally haven't seen a specific, like, that's Furia's.
I think it's just against, yeah, they scout out their opponents, yeah. I would watch out for Herds on the Nook here. I feel like Furia scents blood. I feel like Herds is being that 4+. We talked about it earlier with KC. Oh, he's been pulsed.
The pulse.
He is that 4+1, that free element. Oh, they've given. Wait,
he's not even going to know that they know.
I don't think he knows that they know.
No.
Do you know that they know?
I don't know if he knows that they know. He doesn't know that there's a hard wall there, and now he knows, and now they don't know that he knows. But we know that he doesn't know that.
But Blackray knows.
Perfect.
That's nice.
Herds heard it though. Oh no, Herds. He's got the one up here. Blackray in an awkward position. Anaton is the one to fall. Over fixating on this player. And CAG are going to be punished for it. This could be perfect. There's no way! Can this guy see through walls? Can he smell them from afar?
He's got a built-in pulse gun on that weapon. What the hell?
I don't care if you're pulse. I can feel your heart beating when the crowd is cheering for me. That's what Herds says. And now Furia, despite the heroics of their Nook player, they are down. And another one and KZ have fallen.
Another one's going to go and have a look. Chibisu's going to go and have a look and see if he can fight Herds.
Upstairs, though, action elsewhere. And off camera, a two-man trade on both sides. Even numbers done. I think CG okay with this. C4 in hand, looking for one. It's going to miss. Very much going the wide side. But IQ for the Valkyrie cameras. Bit of verticality, those soft breaching charges. Furia, they got all the tools to get the bomb site control, do the verticality, lock down the flanks, and go for a plant attempt. So CAG, there is a world where they gotta play a risky retake like smoke on white stairs. Is that a gap that I see?
This is a cheeky position, nobody knows about it. Shuri whiffs his shots. Low HP on Nade. I do believe he knows where that came from, though. And now the drop downstairs. Still plenty of time to work with here. Furia have what they need to make this execute happen. And straight in they go. Sharif covered off. He missed his chance. Now Herds has found his. Arkali up against the world. The plant going down. And the coverage is apt here from Furia. They're hunting for him. Philippox knows! And Herds will close. Furia are 2 rounds away from raising another trophy on home soil.
That felt like such a vital round. It felt like the round that Furia really sensed that they can put this fixture to bed. They get that attack, they snowball into it. And I will say, what a game. In the very first instance in that round, trying to get rid of the Herds on the Nook completely changing the dynamic. And it's the thing that Furia keep doing consistently. And I will say, for the most part, CAG, I think they've had a pretty cool mentality. I think they've understood the assignment. They've not let the pressure of the final get to them.
Yeah.
That was one of the rounds where you really felt that it did.
Exactly.
Anaton shooting through the soft floor into the hard wall, tripling up to try and get rid of Herds. They wanted that advantage desperately. They actually lost the round by trying to chase it.
And in a heartbreaking moment, Shurip whiffing the shot on his still standing IQ with the SMG-11.
Yes.
Doesn't get the kill, walks back down the staircase instead of advancing to bathroom, for example. Yes. Later on, when they push the bomb site, he has to retake up the staircase, and Philippox watching it, he dies.
It's nervous. It's
exactly.
nervous plays, ultimately. They're trying to overplay because everything they're trying so far, even though they've been, for the most part, doing the right thing, as you would expect from CAG's perspective, it's still not working, and now they're trying to overplay. They're trying to chase it back.
This is where I fear they can taste the trophy. That's the grounds that they're on right now. And for some teams, I would say, they might start feeling like their risk assessment will change. Oh, we might lose if we, if they win this round, they're gonna make a comeback and I can't take a risk. Furia don't care. We've seen that. And I think them going into a grand finals like against FaZe, making that comeback story, they know they just need to stay locked in and play their own style of Siege, and they will come out victorious because they know and they fully 100% believe that they are the best in the world. And no one can say that they aren't. Yes, FaZe, they won recently, but FaZe is not in the grand finals right now. It's Furia as always.
It's testament to Furia as well. I think Leo mentioned this on the desk yesterday, actually. Shout out to Leo, but he mentioned it, that they stuck with the same five. Despite that big dip after joining Furia, not making the Montreal Major. Big disappointment for this roster, who we expect them in finals. We expect them to be winning things. They stuck together, strong 6 invitational showing, and now they're here at the next event, grand final, 2 rounds away from winning it.
It looked like to me they had lost their hunger. Hunger is there, Shurip takes a bite out of Hertz, gets the kill, with 1 HP left. But Furia this event, they looked like they won it so badly.
Feels like the back.
It does. It's almost like the back to not having won any of those trophies, and they just want their first one again. So rejuvenated, ready for a fight. Half the round to play out, a good bit of verticality, hard destruction, double down on Box and the Sledge. They got all the tools for the job, but there's an Echo, there's Goyo, there's a C4 waiting for you on the other side.
But Chibisu still not in position to throw it as of yet. Furia have taken good map control, but losing Hertz loses part of their X factor. He's the player on this roster who always goes for those big flanks. Speaking of, that's a big kill. Shurip taken out of the game by Nade, and finally the verticality comes to life for Furia.
Furia have cleared all the areas they need now to execute. It's just this C4 on Chibi that's going to be detrimental to them if he manages to find that kill. They've cleared out the double door of Kitchen. They've cleared out the double door of site itself. As soon as they deal with Chibi, it's all go.
I would say discipline, maturity for CAG, but in this round they need to lash out. They need to try and go for a kill. I mean, they got a deployable shield in pocket of Eniton. They've not got the right tools for this one, unless the timer gets so low that it can blunder for Furia. C4 here is so good, but the timing...
Now, this is your moment! A nuclear C4 from Chibisu! And that could well be the round. It's up to Nade and KZ. Nade finds his opening. KZ looking to regroup. There's information for him. Can he find the kill on Chibi? Big round from the Warden. Silencing the crowd and keeping CAG in this fight.
It was all on that C4.
Yes.
The C4 lands, CAG win. The C4 does not land, Furia win. It was as simple as that.
I even want to say, I think
it was too late.
If the C4 only gets 1 of those 2 kills, I don't think that's enough. I think it has to get the double kill. Otherwise, it changes nothing.
I thought it was too late.
I thought so too.
I thought they'd be in sight.
Furia dropped, and they just wiggled the window for the long line of sight, or maybe perhaps looking for the sentinel. I'm not entirely sure why they did it, but it slowed the push down by like 1 second, which made all the difference. We might see it in the replay. A good bird. Oh my god, that's a great kill. C4, Sense Wall, they drop. Yeah, Sense gadget in the hand, I believe. Dies.
So Furia actually, Leo did it. I'm praising Leo again. Leo Alfama, he did a great illustration on Furia doing that specific attack previously. And I think what Philippox wanted to do was roll the Sense gadget from the window all the way across, because you can plant in an off position using the Sense gadget. That extra half a second to a second that takes was enough for the C4 to land.
Yeah, and I guess in their head, they want to pop the Sense Wall, then watch the hand stop first, then get the second roly-poly. Otherwise, they show their cards ahead of time, right?
Roly-poly.
Roly-poly.
I like it.
Otherwise, you'd expect default plant. So they're going to drop first, then throw it out, then jump over. Again, that's Furia not wanting to show CAG what their end goal is, whereas we saw CAG in the attack, they didn't show us enough. They're always like predictable.
Look at the lineup here. Amaru, Ying, IQ, Dokubi.
I'm looking at it.
Screams set play.
It does, and I think the post here is excellent for that because it's not a static camera, it's moving information. Of course he's seen it, but it might change their approach to this, and it may be a window bang.
Oh, 4! Nitro
okay.
Nice idea. Herds is lucky that he's playing that IQ, otherwise he wouldn't have seen that C4 coming. KZ though, in with the Candelas. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it a bait? No, it's not, because Nate is upstairs. And yet he doesn't find anybody. Where is CAG?
They don't know about Blackray. They might hear it now.
Hidden in the corner now, but his phone ringing along. Blackray just waiting for his moment, but nobody is giving it. He has a little love tap, but still nobody knows that he is still waiting here in Cocktail. These two players, like ship from the night, sail past. He still fails to find his kill.
Not again.
Punish here. CAG, Furia come to life in a 4v3. It rests on Arkuli's shoulders with this pulse down below.
It's the different rounds, same blunder again. Wrong timing, doesn't get the kill. Now playing from the back foot, losing top floor control with a quick trade from Furia. And there's so much time to work with. Drones are coming out, flank watch being established.
So much time, so much information from the side of Furia. They have lost their execute utility in the Ying. However, they do have a Dokkaebi call that's just going out now, and no defender has a C4 to deny anything apart from their guns.
So they trade their execute operator for map control, for kills, for advantage. They're going to keep brute forcing it. 4v2, red pings in hand. They know where they are.
So over here, Anaton is caught out. He's cornered, and they've cut him down. Arkuli, V4 for CAG. Furia, they know where he is. That's the first, but not the second. Furia are back in Brazil with a championship point before them.
One more round. And Furia, since the side swap, they've not gone into this quietly or passively or slowly. They want the trophy. They want to get the kills that are being controlled. They want to show why they are the best in the world by winning the round, not by CAG losing it.
And they've beaten some formidable opponents, even just to get here. Yes, they're against significantly weaker opposition in this final. Yes, it is David versus Goliath, favorite versus underdog. However, even just to get here, they had to beat out FaZe. They chose FaZe. In the draft show, they chose FaZe, eliminated the world champions just to make main stage.
Yeah.
They then went on to beat Lair, formerly West from the Academy, main stage at 6 Invitational, 2-0. They then played W7M yesterday, major champions, rejuvenated with Palu. 2-0, and now they're on the verge. One more round of a 3-0 victory in a best-of-5 final against CAG Osaka.
It's always been about the grand finals of Furia from the very beginning. And I think picking FaZe when they did to advance for them and send them home was the most brainiac play you could ever make. It's risky, but you pretty much decide your fate, winning or losing the grand finals in that moment.
Yeah, Norris nearly fell off his chair when he found out in that. He nearly fell off his chair. What are they doing? It was Giga Brain.
Yeah. Of course, we say that knowing that Furia, they are here, but I don't doubt this. If FaZe had beaten Furia back then, it would have been FaZe in the grand finals in their stead, looking at this similar result.
There's no doubt about it. Furia, what a year it's been. Sao Paulo seems like quite a long time ago when you realize February last year was over a year ago. And since then, it has been mediocrity. It has been complacency. And this team that is yet to bring home silverware under their new banner is finally within reach of yet another trophy.
He's looking for it again.
It's unexpected.
Yeah, but it's gonna work. Surely he gets the kill. He's so strong.
Oh,
finds a second. He's gonna force the angle.
And now he's stolen the side from CAG. A third kill goes begging, and Shuri can finally breathe a sigh of relief. But the sweat is running down his neck as Furia are beating the door down on CAG.
A lot of pressure right now for CAG. You can tell they're not quite moving the server. They're standing still, waiting for something to happen. CAG cannot play scared. You have to be some sort of playmaking. They got in from the bomb side.
They do have the Valkyrie cameras. They do have C4 in hand. In theory, CAG, they can bring this back if they need to, but that's not going to be the way to do it.
Now, 2 Japanese players against 4 Brazilians. Everything on the line, static in their spots.
Oh, it's desperation, Chibisu. He's on the verge of death.
Nade.
The nade comes through. There's nothing left for CAG. The history books are calling their name once again. A new era of Siege dawns today
Wow. A dominant grand final, certainly one of the most dominant I've ever seen. A much different set of circumstances since you were last battling for silverware in Brazil. How did you get it done so quickly?
They're a pretty good team, but we're playing a really good siege today. I'm glad that we could keep the composure. In the last map, we were kind of nervous to close out, but we could keep the composure and get the win.
Perfect. And after the 2024 Invitational, you were the team to beat, so you have to reinvent yourselves. You okay? And you did it. You reinvent yourselves. How was that process? Você pode responder em português, se você preferir.
É que eu tava voando aqui, o que você pergunta?
Depois do Invitational de 2024, vocês viraram o time a ser batido e vocês tiveram que se reinventar. E vocês conseguiram fazer isso. Como que foi esse processo de lá pra cá?
Cara, então, muitas pessoas acham que pelo fato de a gente ter ganho 3 títulos, assim, a gente ia acomodar, mas não, muito diferente disso. A gente sempre queria estar lá de novo, prestigiando, estar lá no Major, qualquer campeonato. E a gente também abdicou de várias férias ano passado para estar trabalhando. A gente conseguiu quase no Invi, a gente sabia que o próximo a gente iria levar. E tá aqui, primeiro campeonato do CGX a gente conseguiu.
Primeiro campeonato do CGX, primeiro campeonato de vocês na Fúria. Parabéns. Congratulations.
Could you just translate a little bit there for our English audience, Nibby?
Okay. He said that he was working so hard, the entire team was working so hard the past year. So now they did it. They have, how I said, they have to reinvent themselves. And after all of the trophies that they won.
Finally, Felipox. Are you back? Is this team back? And are we about to see Furia dominance for the next 12 months?
We are back. CGX is our game now. The first trophy is an honor to win the first trophy in CGX history. And we made a promise when we joined Furia that we would bring a trophy for them. And we did it today, so I'm just so happy.
All right, guys, one more time. I want you to lift that trophy high in the air as this Brazilian crowd loves it. Your R6 Reload champions